ist auch sehr leise bei der Bühne, aber ja, es gibt nur einen Mikro, das ist links vorne bei der Bühne, wo ich jetzt gerade stehe. Das ist halt unsere Konversation.
Bene, bene, allora, STIHL TIMBERSPORTS, ci siamo? Rifaccio la domanda così vediamo se il pubblico, mancano 8 minuti al via, quindi anzi 7 minuti al via, quindi manca davvero pochissimo a iniziare questa avventura. STIHL TIMBERSPORTS, ci siamo? Ah, così va molto meglio, Allora, intanto, Giuliano, ben arrivato, hai una bellissima maglietta in mano, ma spieghiamo anche il motivo e perché.
Sì, allora abbiamo iniziato a dare un suggerimento sul network, quindi vedete il motivo per cui ho questa maglietta in mano. C'è un contest che abbiamo lanciato pochissimi secondi fa sulla pagina Instagram che vedete in sovraimpressione sullo schermo. Quindi il migliore, il più veloce che risponderà sulla pagina Instagram indovinando chi sarà il campione italiano 2026, ovviamente il primo che risponderà correttamente vincerà la maglietta della nazionale ed è la maglietta storica perché è il primo mondiale che si è giocato in Italia l'anno scorso e quindi non è in vendita questa, sarà anche, se volete, a vostra discrezione, firmata dal campione italiano. Questo sceglierete voi, ecco.
Quindi ecco, partecipate naturalmente a questo contest, ricordiamo le pagine social, Facebook e Instagram, naturalmente STIHL TIMBERSPORTS Ita, giusto?
Ci siamo evoluti e siamo anche su TikTok e stiamo facendo i disastri su TikTok e questo contest è su Instagram, però seguiteci ovunque che vi divertite.
Giuliano, già che sei qui ti rubo solamente 2 parole per dare naturalmente il benvenuto a tutto il pubblico presente e naturalmente il grazie agli Office of Thunder Games che ci stanno ospitando, grazie Omegna, questa meravigliosa località che appunto è sede del campionato italiano 2026 e quindi diamo davvero a tutti loro, a tutto il pubblico presente, ma soprattutto anche agli atleti, quello che è il benvenuto.
Sì, agli ospiti sicuramente il benvenuto e un buon divertimento, agli atleti più che il benvenuto il bocca al lupo e buona fortuna, perché un po' serve anche quella, si preparano molto, poi un pizzico di fortuna ci va anche, quindi buona fortuna a tutti quelli che saliranno su questo palco tra poco. Quanto mi stai odiando per averti dato questa maglietta così traspirante oggi? Tantissimo.
No, c'è una leggera brezza, quindi va bene, basta che tengo un attimino le braccia alzate e è ottima. Allora, contro il caldo, ma per il caldo, per la passione, per il divertimento, per STIHL TIMBERSPORTS. Allora, ancora alcuni minuti, quindi 4 minuti e saremo pronti ad iniziare. Andremo naturalmente a presentare i nostri 11 atleti pro per quello che è il titolo di campione italiano 2026. Voi restate lì perché, signore e signori, inizierà Giuliano, un grande spettacolo.
Un campionato molto atteso e oggi è il giorno, quindi godiamocelo tutti quanti.
Bene, a dopo su con la musica carichiamo il pubblico che ci siamo. Grazie a voi e grazie a STIHL TIMBERSPORTS.
Diciamo che ci sono anche altri gadget, quindi se voi durante la giornata di oggi vi divertirete e volete postare qualche foto e taggare la nostra pagina, noi a un certo momento lanceremo gadget da qua, magari meglio di come abbiamo fatto prima perché è stato un fail clamoroso, useremo altri gadget da lanciare nel modo segno magari.
I rookie sono stati troppo veloci per quello, c'era una pressione importante, quindi, però abbiamo tutto il tempo perché naturalmente alle ore 3 finirà intorno alle 6, quindi abbiamo davvero queste bellissime 3 ore da passare insieme, giusto?
Assolutamente sì, è il momento di sentire la pressione che cresce, quindi liberiamo il palco.
Liberiamo il palco su con la musica e a pochissimo, mancano 3 minuti e mezzo.
everybody. Welcome to the STIHL Timbersports Italian Pro. It is the big day for the Italians today. See if they will have a fast enough time to get on the European ranking and who will win the Italian Pro Championship today. We're going to head over to the stage where they're getting everything set to introduce our athletes and our staff on stage. We hope you enjoy this one from Italy. It is the STIHL Timbersports Italian Pro Championship.
Signore e signori, buongiorno e benvenuti a tutti. Campionato italiano 2026, STIHL Timbersport. Quindi ben arrivati naturalmente qui ad Omegna, ben arrivati in questa bellissima località che ci ospita. Nella mattina abbiamo visto all'opera naturalmente la gara dei rookie, quindi della categoria Under 25, ed ora, signore e signori, si alza l'asticella dello spettacolo perché in gara ci saranno gli 11 atleti pro, i migliori atleti italiani della disciplina per contendersi quello che è il titolo di campione italiano. Quindi grazie a STIHL, grazie a tutti voi per essere qui presenti, grazie a Official Summer Games che naturalmente ci offre l'opportunità di essere qui. E allora, signore e signori, andiamo a presentare i nostri atleti. E quindi abbiamo il primo atleta che entrerà qui sul palco di STIHL Timbersport. Lui ha esordito lo scorso anno al campionato italiano 2025. Lui arriva da Crema di Bergamo, signore e signori, Luca Panzeri. E allora eccoci. Ciao Luca e ben arrivato. Eleva anche il cappello naturalmente per salutare tutto il pubblico presente. Luca, innanzitutto ben arrivato, come stai? Molto bene.
All right, so right now we're just meeting each of the athletes as they're brought up onto stage. That's Luca Panzeri.
Diciamo sì, poche parole ma tanti fatti. Ancora una volta l'applauso a Luca Panzeri. Ed ora, signore e signori, andiamo a presentare il prossimo atleta. Lui arriva da Genova, 31 anni, signore e signori, Mario Rebora.
Now coming up onto stage, Mario Rebora.
E allora Mario, eccoci.
All of these guys hoping for a chance to take that top spot on the podium.
Soprattutto questo meraviglioso evento, campionato italiano. Mario, cosa ti aspetti da questa giornata?
Un gran spettacolo, adrenalina e quello che
Bene, e allora questo è l'applauso. Tutto per te, per Mario Rebora. Andiamo a presentare il prossimo atleta. Lui arriva dalla vicino Varese, 22 anni, giovane, talentuoso, signore e signori, Oscar Frice.
So Mario Rebora, this will be his first pro championship. He actually competed in the Italian Rookie Cup in 23 and ended up in 6th place there, so high hopes for him moving into the pro ranks.
No, scusa, è vero. Allora, colpa mia, che ho scritto male gli appunti. Non si chiede l'età, giusto? Però possiamo dirlo quanti anni hai. Ok, quindi facciamo fare i calcoli a voi. Classe 88, quindi bocca al lupo, buon divertimento, l'applauso ancora una volta e ancora per lui. Bene, signore e signori, passiamo ai veterani. Questo è uno dei veterani, iniziato nel lontano 2010 quando STIHL Timbersport Italia approda appunto in Italia. Un grandissimo atleta, grande esperienza ma soprattutto grande passione e grande confronto.
50-year young Riccardo Ambrosini.
L'applauso è per lui.
He is one of the veterans of this sports.
Veterani. Bravissimo Ricchi. Allora,
held the pro national record for the stock saw back in 2021, 10.60. things have definitely gone down from there as far as the times are concerned. So we'll maybe see him get some good times here today. He's looking to stay relevant in the sport here as Riccardo Ambrosini is up on stage and does his quick interview with our live stage moderator.
L'applauso, signore e signori, Riccardo Ambrosini. Prossimo atleta, lui arriva da Trento, 35 anni, signore e signori, Daniel Filippi.
Next up, Daniel Filippi,
Eccoci
35
qui.
years old.
Daniel, ben arrivato naturalmente anche a te, scambia quelle che sono i 5 suoi compagni di questa
Been involved
avventura. Daniel,
for a good few years now.
Perché per 4 volte sei arrivato settimo per il
Four-time 7th place national pro champion, so he's in the middle of the pack, and he's a guy that is very fit, so we could see good things from him if he's got one of those on days during the competition. We will see how that goes throughout the day.
Daniel Filippi. Bene, ora una volta del prossimo atleta, lui ama il cielo, lui arriva dalla terra di Valtellina, dalla gelida Sirta. Signore e signori, 43 anni, il nostro valtellinese con il cappello, con le paperelle, Marco Locatelli!
Marco Locatelli coming up on stage now.
E allora,
Marco, 43 years young.
Locatelli. E allora, appena arrivato Marco, poi
Competed since 2018 in the Italian Championship, and where he got 8th place. His best rank so far has been 3rd place at the Italian Pro in 2019.
Avanti tutta allora. Tu hai un hashtag, giusto?
Hashtag lento ma violento.
Lento ma violento, ma anche Rotus Staromecca, giusto? Signore e signori, Marco Locatelli! Rimaniamo in terra di Valtellina perché qui abbiamo
Next up, we see the name of Alessandro Ciapponi. 28 years young, recently married, and he'll be coming up on the stage here. He is going to be looking to have a stellar day today. He's been ever so close to winning this on a number of times in the past. He's participated in the World Trophy, the European Trophy, on the international levels. He's been at the Nordic Pro Cup and the Czech Rookie Cup and the Swiss Rookie Cup back in the day, as well as the Rookie Academy. On the national level, he won the Italian Pro Championships back in 2023. He wants to recapture that glory. He also won the Czech Rookie Cup and the Swiss Rookie Cup. So he's done his due diligence in the rookies, and now he is going to try and get back to the top of that podium at the Italian Pro Championships. Last year, he managed to get there in 4th place, just outside the podium position. So this year may well be his year. Alessandro also participating in a YouTube show that they've been talking about a lot lately called Off Season, where they go and follow the athletes during their off-season training. All right, now coming up on the stage is an absolute legend in Italian timber sports, Andrea Rossi, 51 years young. He has been around the sport a long time, competing since before 2019. He was at the European Trophy in 2017. Back in 2012, he actually won the Nationals, the Italian Championship, and he has been the perennial champion. It seems like forever. He got the Italian Cup in 2019, the Italian Pro Championship in 2019, 2021, and again in 24. He knows what it takes to be the man on the top of the podium. The question is, does he have the endurance and the power still in him to do it? I would say probably very much yes.
L'applauso e onore per il nostro Alberto Fumagalli.
Alberto Fumagalli coming up on stage now. 31 years old. National best was the Benelux Rookie Cup in 2019. That's his best result. As far as the Italian Pro Championships, last year he was 5th place. He got the same in 24 and 23. So pretty consistent performances there.
Bene, allora in bocca al lupo per questa avventura, poi so che hai un tifoso speciale in prima fila, giusto?
Sì, l'anno scorso sono stato papà di Genoa, un campionato italiano davanti a lui e vabbè.
Allora dov'è Jacopo? Ah, eccolo lì. Allora applauso per Alberto, applauso per Jacopo. E per
So should be 3 more athletes coming up onto stage here before we get our competition underway and introduce a couple of other fairly important individuals.
Quindi andiamo ad accogliere
Michael Delpine should be our next athlete coming up onto the deck here. Let's see if it is. In fact, it is Michael Delpine. Very interesting character. 7th place at the European Nations Pro Cup 22. Rookie World Championship. He was 2nd in 2018 on the national level. He won the Italian Pro Championship back in 2022, and at just 28 years of age, he is reaching into his prime years now, so this could very well be the season that he comes back onto the top of that podium, but he has got a list of athletes ahead of him there that really want to take that top spot. So the competition is going to be tough today for a lot of these top guys. Michael Delpine, definitely one of those guys considered to be a favorite, along with Andrea Rossi and Alessandro Ciapponi.
Lui lo scorso anno campione italiano in carica, arriva dalla Valle d'Aosta, 28 anni, Michel Perrin!
And our reigning Italian champion, Michel Perrin, coming up on stage. 28 years young as well, so he is definitely in his prime, and having won the event last year, he represented Italy at the World Championships. He's going to have a target on his back today for sure. He got 12th place at the individual World Championships in 2025, so that is a very strong showing for him, and let's see if he can do it again here this year. 23, he was 2nd at the Italian Pro Championships. His best international results have been 1st at the French Rookie Cup and the 1st at the Italian Rookie Cup in 22 and 21 respectively. On the national end, as I mentioned, the Italian Pro Champion from last year, so the reigning champion. And he's only been out of the rookie ranks for a couple of years now, so it says a lot to where he is at in his training.
Gli 11 atleti che si sfideranno per il titolo di campione italiano. Allora andiamo naturalmente a salutare e presentare i nostri giudici. E allora abbiamo dall'Italia il nostro Alberto Corbetta.
So one of our on-stage judges, Alberto Corbetta, coming out now. These guys have a very important role to play here. They're keeping a close eye on everything. And of course, Bart Janssen is almost always the main judge or one of the judges on stage for these national and international events, and he also provides a lot of the staffing and equipment for this background that you see in the stage that these guys are competing on. We also have the competition control center, which we won't see today as there's no camera there, and that is normally operated by Bart's son, Schul Janssen. The competition control center playing a critical role, using all of those high-speed cameras to make sure that the competition on stage is as fair as possible for our athletes. So we'll clear the stage off here shortly and get ready for our first event, which you see the block set up for. It is the underhand chop, and there will be one athlete on stage to start this competition alone on stand number 1, as we have an odd number of athletes here on stage today. And that means we'll have the first athlete come up on stage all by his lonesome as we get ready to go for discipline number 1, and that is the underhand chop. Now, I do believe we have the competition format coming up for you, so you understand how this competition is going to run from beginning to end. Let's take a quick look at that.
E allora eccolo qui Cristiano Neoffer, che naturalmente saluta tutti i nostri fantastici atleti.
The STIHL Timbersports Individual Competition.
In the first round, all athletes compete in 3 disciplines: the underhand chop, the stock saw, and the standing block chop. The times achieved will be converted into points upon completion of each discipline. In round 1, a difference of 1 point applies in each discipline, thus the fastest athlete receives 12 points and the slowest only 1 point. Any rule infraction will result in a disqualification, and the athlete will receive 0 points for that discipline. At the end of the first round, the athletes with the lowest scores are eliminated. Only 8 athletes make it to the second round. In this second round, the remaining athletes compete in the single buck and the springboard for increased scores. With 2 points difference between placings, the fastest athlete now receives 16 points and the slowest receives 2. The 2 athletes with the lowest total points are eliminated at the end of round 2. Only the top 6 reach the third round. In the third round, anything is still possible in the hot saw, as an increased score interval of 3 points applies in this final round. The fastest athlete can score up to 18 points at the hot saw, the slowest only 3 points. The athlete who manages to achieve the highest total score across all 3 rounds is the new champion. All right, so we're ready to go for our first discipline, the underhand chop. Let's take a quick look at the tool and discipline for underhand chop. The axes used in timber sports definitely can't be bought at your local hardware store. Made from special steel, the blade is hand sanded with an angle of 13 to 16 degrees. It's custom built and carefully adjusted for each competition. The weight is around 3 kilos and it's about 80 centimeters long. The blade is so sharp that you could shave with it. Underhand chop. In the past, the underhand chop technique was used to split logs. Standing on a horizontally anchored block, the athletes cut through a 32-centimeter log. The block has to be worked from both sides. All right, so there we see our start list for the underhand chop, and as I mentioned, because we only have 11 athletes as opposed to the normal 12 athletes, we will start with Luca Panzeri as the one athlete that will be on stage by himself for this first discipline. Tough way to start, but this is not an elimination type of situation here in round 1 in this first discipline. So for Luca, it's just about trying to get the fastest time possible. We'll see him on the very left-hand side of the stage. You can see there as the world record, season's best, and national records are displayed there. Luca's got a bit of work to do to catch up there with a personal best time of 1 and some change. So hopefully we'll have seen some improvement from him, and if he can get through there in under 50 seconds, that will be a huge step for Luca. So just a quick explanation. Again, as you saw in the competition format and the tool and discipline, the athlete has to chop through from both sides. A cut foothold or starting ahead of the gun will result in a disqualification. Here we go.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good start there for Luca, chipping out some nice pieces. Oh, stepping down. He's got to keep that balance on top of the block, but good that he got his foot back up there before he drove that axe in. Looking very good on this first side, though. Nice, clean cuts. That scarf looks very, very solid, and he moves to that second side, just passing the 20-second mark as he gets over there. You can hear him breathing out with each one of those drivers to try and apply a little bit more power in there. Got got a couple of sticky axes, but it looks like he might get through here in a very good time and obliterate his previous best time. That's his hope, at least, and he's coming close to it, looking for those final heavy drivers into the block, and one more should do it, and there he goes. Fantastic personal best for Luca, 44.14 seconds. That's unofficial for the moment, but I think we might even see that improve ever so slightly. Very nice time from Luca Panzeri.
Andranno a validare quella che è la prova, compito importantissimo per l'esecuzione corretta delle diverse discipline in gara.
Okay, the cut is go.
There you go. There is an improvement after the CCC got its hands on it. 43.85, so a couple tenths of a second better. And that is a very, very nice cut from Luca Panzeri. A good way to start the competition off. And he really knew he had a job to do out there, and he did it fantastically. Nice big chips. Great lines on that scarf on the side there. Hardly any stepping at all. So you can see he's been working on his accuracy now. He needs to work on the pace at which he's cutting on each of those sides. But that was a really nice run for Luca Panzeri. And we move on to our next duo on stage, or the first of our duos coming up on stage, Mario Rebora and Oscar Frige. So right now, the time to beat is Luca Panzeri's 43.85, and both of these guys by the tail of the tape are a little bit slower, but based on what we saw Luca do, we may see some good times fall today.
Allora, lo ricordiamo, tutti gli 11 atleti affrontano le prime 3 discipline, al termine del quale verrà redatta quella che è la classifica, quindi
Mario Rebora, a 57.13 PB, and Oscar Frige, a 49.56, and a 43.85 is what is needed to take the lead. And here we go with heat number 2.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good pace by both of these gentlemen on that first side of the block. Mario Rebora looking really good, though. I think he might be over to that second side fairly quickly here, as he is hitting at a frequency that is quite fast. Oh, a bit of a sticky axle that caused him to slow down. That gave Oscar Frige a chance to get over to that second side, got a piece of that block stuck in his axe, had to clear that before going in there again. Ooh, a bit of a driver close to his foot. Hopefully that wasn't a cut foothold, and we'll have a look at that afterwards. But Mario Rebora looking really good here as well, coming towards that 40-second mark, and both of them should get personal bests here by the look of the way they're chopping. It's going to be close here for Oscar Frige as he's trying to find that line, and he's not going to do it. Oh, that's unfortunate, but it's going to be a PB for Mario Rebora by 2 and a bit seconds. Very nice cut by him. And Oscar Frige struggling a little bit on that second side, trying to find his way through with those power drivers. A little bit steppy on that second side as well. One more driver should do it, and he is through in 1:14.63. That is going to be a disappointing time for him.
Allora, bravi ragazzi, ora valutazione da parte dei nostri giudici e poi avremo naturalmente il verdetto di giudizio.
Okay, both cuts are good.
All right, so both cuts are good. That cut foothold that I thought I saw didn't actually materialize into anything, so that's very, very good for Oscar Frige, as he didn't get a disqualification there. However, the time was not great. So at the moment, Oscar is sitting in 3rd place out of 3 athletes that have competed so far. Bit of a slow move around to that second side of his block by Mario Rebora. He wanted to make sure that he was really stable before he took that first driver. Better to go slow in this case, though, than to try and rush it. And you can see a really dark spot in the middle of Mario Rebora's block. That might have been a bit of tight wood there, but he got through in a personal best. So he improves, which is good. We like to see that. Unfortunately for Oscar Frige, it wasn't the cut that he had hoped to have. All right, stage being set up now for our second 2 heats, or next pairing of heats, I should say. Heat number 3 will have Riccardo Ambrosini and Daniel Filippi. And heat number 4 will be Marco Locatelli and Alessandro Ciapponi. Now this is a discipline that favors Alessandro Ciapponi. He really likes the underhand chop and the standing block chop, both of which he's quite good at. So we'll see how he does in heat number 4 here. Before that though, we'll have heat number 3 with Riccardo Ambrosini and Daniel Filippi. And there, a really quick look at the current underhand chop standings. Luca Panzeri with the fastest time so far and the time to beat. Now in the rule books, it is indicated that the athletes are required to set up their own blocks. So that's why you see them out there putting their wood in place. And it looks like the block for Daniel Filippi was put on the stand the other way around. So the guys just did the simple solution, moved the whole stand around to the side that he wants to start with.
Il rivenditore ufficiale taglia 2. Li vedo qui quindi l'amico Mattia, nostri rookie, e amico Thomas, che questa mattina. Mattia! Ok, alza la mano, bisogna la gente ti vede, Thomas, ok. Sono i nostri 2 rookie italiani che hanno gareggiato questa mattina, quindi una gara davvero importante per loro, un grande spettacolo, quindi grazie, e avanti tutta sempre. Bene, allora, continuiamo per la preparazione, poi saremo pronti. Intanto ricordiamo di comunicare a casa, chi non fosse presente, di seguire la diretta live.
Sì, se avete degli amici, dei cugini, dei parenti che vi hanno bidonato e non sono venuti.
All right, so heat number 3 coming up between Riccardo Ambrosini and Daniel Filippi. 15 years difference between these two. Riccardo Ambrosini been around the sport quite a while. You could call him a veteran of the sport. Daniel got 7th place at the Italian Pro Championship last year. His best national result to date.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Allora ecco i partiti, forza Riccardo, forza Daniel, qui si picchia.
And Riccardo Ambrosini was 2nd place at the Italian Pro Championships back in 2013. So that tells you a little bit about how long he has actually been involved in the sport. And that experience plays a big role as these guys are working through on that first side. And Daniel Filippi has moved over to his 2nd side already, looking very good on that 2nd side, chipping out nicely. Bit of a steppy side there, leaving a little bit of salad, steps down on both feet. That's going to cause a time delay for him. Big drivers from Riccardo Ambrosini though as he gets in there, but that's a nice cut there from Daniel Filippi. 39:18 unofficial time and a personal best for him. That puts him atop the leaderboard there with the fastest time in the underhand chop, and that should improve ever so slightly. Riccardo Ambrosini trying to find his way through that block and finally does it. 55:59.
Allora, bravi ragazzi, valutazione da parte dei giudici e poi il loro verdetto.
Riccardo required to put the sheath back on his axe before he comes to the decision zone there in the middle.
Okay, podcast over. Go!
The official times there, 55:18 to 38:78. A really nice time by Daniel Filippi. So he takes over that top spot in the underhand chop, and therefore, as this is the first discipline of 3 in round 1, he has the lead in the competition so far. Daniel looking good on that first side. Steps down a couple of times. That could have probably saved him a good second, maybe even a bit more. So you got to be stable on top of that block just to make sure that you're cutting clean. All right. Marco Locatelli and Alessandro Ciapponi up next, and you can see tail of the tape definitely has Alessandro with the advantage here. He likes this discipline. This is absolutely one of his favorites. His best result so far was the Italian Championships back in 2013, where, Alessandro Ciapponi, his best results on the national level was first place at the Italian Pro Championships back in 2023. And he's competed at the World Trophy just recently in Hungary, in Budapest, where he got 11th place. The European Trophy in 25 was 15, in 24 he was 13, so a little bit of a dip there. But now he's got some motivation, recently married and starting a new family, so that's going to be something that is going to be pushing him to make sure that he is improving every step of the way.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Marco Locatelli getting rid of that hat, making sure that he is right into it. You can see the pace there from Alessandro Ciapponi. Really, really nice drivers, but Locatelli right there with him on that first side. Ciapponi onto that second side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers ahead of Locatelli as he moves over to his second side now. And this could be a really good time for Ciapponi. A couple more drivers for the Italian there on the far side of the stage. He is through in a personal best 24.96, a great time. And he takes over top spot, and another personal best for Locatelli, 29.61, and that puts him in second place there. So Ciapponi and Locatelli with a very fast time move into 1 and 2 respectively. Daniel Filippi with his time of 38.78 sits in third place, and that is a great run from Alessandro Ciapponi. A near 3-second improvement on his time previous.
Okay, both cuts are good.
All right, great run there from both of those guys. They were really pushing each other on this one as well. You could see the pace that Alessandro started off with, but Marco, he was right there with every driver that Alessandro put in. Marco had one right there with him. Difference maker here, I think Alessandro got a clean first side, and his shift to the second side was quick. Now you can see it's a bit steppy on that second side. Really clean scarfs there for Marco, but Alessandro was a little bit faster through on that second side. A little bit of material left over there for Marco to get through, but it wasn't too bad. Ciapponi, a little bit of a salad side, I would say. That's what I like to call it. He left a little bit of material open. Good crowd here on hand to watch the Italian Pro Championships for STIHL Timbersports. This will be the 41st year that STIHL Timbersports is being competed, and it'll be also the 100th anniversary of STIHL as a company. That is impressive in today's day and age. It's going to be a fantastic celebration in October at the World Championships in Stuttgart, home of STIHL, and we'll definitely see a lot of parties going on there to celebrate 100 years in business. So fantastic. But in the meantime, we're concentrating on the STIHL Timbersports Italian Championship here, and our next couple of heats, heats 5 and 6 in the underhand chop. Heat 5 will have legendary Italian athlete Andrea Rossi going up against Alberto Fumagalli. Alberto Fumagalli, just 31 years old. He's a big boy though. 100 kilos at 175 centimeters tall. So he's definitely got a power package that he brings to it. He won the Benelux Rookie Cup in 2019. That's his best national result or international result, really. And the Italian Pro Championship in 2025. Last year, he ranked 5th place. He's been participating since before 2019, so he knows a little bit about the sport. Alessandro Rossi, on the other hand, seems like he's been a perennial champion. Italian Pro Champion in 19, 20, 21, and again in 24. And we know what happened in the 22, 23 years. There wasn't a lot going on. On the international level, he has participated in the individual world championships. His best result there, 11th place, and at the European Trophy in 2017 he ranked 5th. So Alessandro, or Andrea Rossi, excuse me, like I said, an absolute legend, and you can see his personal best for this discipline is 20 and change, so that is a really, really quick time. Let's see how he does against Alberto Fumagalli. Andrea Rossi is also one of the real fantastic ambassadors for timber sports in Italy, but also around the world.
La qualità, la passione e il talento anche di Alberto Fumagalli, con piccolo Jacopo in prima fila a fare il tifo per il papà. E quindi naturalmente in bocca al lupo a questi due atleti, Andrea Rossi, Alberto Fumagalli, ultimi attimi di preparazione, di concentrazione e poi saremo pronti, tutto pronto.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good start by both of them. Andrea Rossi getting in there with some massive drivers. Good chips flying off of that block. Fumagalli off to that second side quick. The power of Fumagalli is really playing a great role here. Andrea Rossi went a bit deeper on that first side. He's about 2-3 drivers behind Fumagalli, but Fumagalli's looking good here. And we may have a very fast time for him as well. He's got to get back up and do one more hit. It's going to be like 22, 23 seconds, but it's going to be a personal best. And look how happy he is. Wow. Fantastic run for him. Andrea Rossi with a 28-26, but Fumagalli with a 24-12. I think that's still unofficial at this point, but how happy was he getting through that one?
Okay, butt cuts are go!
Yes, it's going to be 23.94, personal best for Fumagalli. 28.03, about 8 seconds off pace for Andrea Rossi. I don't know what happened there, but Fumagalli really went for it on this block. You can see the pace he was cutting with, barely adjusting his hands on that axe as he was driving in on that first side. And he was quick over to that second side, and he would have been probably a second faster right here. Watch what happened. He still had a piece of wood left. He had to get back up there before he could drive that through. Otherwise, that would have been a DQ. Smart that he did that. And look at the excitement. I love that. Such a fantastic reaction from Alberto Fumagalli, who has the first place at the moment. Andrea Rossi, still a good time. 28.03 puts him in third place in the underhand chop results and currently in the overall standings. And now, two guys that I have a feeling are going to be on a collision course with each other towards the end of the day. We have Michael Delpine against Michel Perrin. Michel Perrin represented Italy last year at the individual world championships. Michael Delpine looking to get to the top of that podium here today.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Quick start by Delpine. Got in there very fast. Both of them pacing at that block nicely. Delpine. Oh, wow. Perrin onto the other side of that block, about 3 drivers ahead of Delpine. This should be a quick time for both of them, actually. We may see another personal best. Oh, national record for Michel Perrin, 19 seconds. If that stands and that becomes official, that is going to be a fantastic time for him, a personal best and a national record. Looks like it's going to go to 18.71 seconds indeed. So that is a fantastic national record and the top results for underhand chop. Alberto Fumagalli holds on to that second. Alessandro Ciapponi sits in third, and Michael Delpin is in fourth place with a 25.05.
Il nuovo record nazionale 18.71 Michael Delpin.
All right, so you can see both of these guys got into it really quickly. I thought that Michael Delpin was going to get through this one a little bit faster than he did. He was into the block quick. I mean, his reaction time was amazingly fast. But Michel Perrin onto that second side, and he just murdered that block. He was so quick through. New national record by him. Big congratulations, as he is in the lead in this competition so far. We'll take a look at the rankings. As you can see, Michael Delpin on his final few drivers there, as Michel Perrin catches his breath. So because this is the first discipline of our first round, this ranking that you see right here will in fact be the overall ranking as well, as we get ready to go to our second discipline. So we can see Michel Perrin up there on the top with that wonderful 18.71 national record. Some great times there by Fumagalli, Ciapponi, and Delpin. Delpin would have been a little bit faster had he gotten to that second side a little bit faster. Just about a half second slower than his normal time, but all in all, a pretty solid result for those first 4 or 5 guys, and it's about staying consistent, which is what we're seeing here from our favorite athletes at the top 5 positions. So we're going to head into our next discipline, which is the stock saw, and we'll take a quick look at the tool and discipline for what's coming up in the 2nd of June. The STIHL MS661CM stock saw is used in STIHL Timbersports as the ultimate test of operator's skill. Designed for the toughest jobs in forestry, it produces approximately 7.3 horsepower, has a displacement of 91.1 cc, and weighs 7.4 kilograms. To ensure evenly and fairly matched saws, professional STIHL technicians prepare and test the saws before each competition. Stock saw. After the starting shot, the contestants have to cut 2 wooden discs, so-called cookies, within a 10-centimeter mark. 1 downward and 1 upward. The attempt is only valid when both discs have been cut off completely and within the marks. All right, so here we have our stock saw start list, and again, because we only have 11 athletes, there will be 1 guy on stage all by his lonesome, and this time it's going to be Michel Perrin, our current overall leader. He'll start us off in the stock saw. Not his favorite discipline, but a discipline that he is nonetheless proficient at.
Michel Perrin, eccolo qui, che inizia la sua avventura con la disciplina della stock saw.
So I was told several years ago that when the wood is chopping well, it usually saws a little bit slower. Will that hold true today as Michel Perrin gets ready to go for his stock saw run? We will see. His personal best in stock saw.
Okay. Warm up your saw.
Well, this all sounds weird from this perspective here over the microphones. Here you see
Athlete ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good start by Michel Perrin as he gets into that. Starts to cut a little bit thin towards the bottom, but he's got a complete cookie, and his transition is beautiful. We may see a good time from here. Yes, we do. 11.97, a slight improvement for him as he gets himself a personal best. Very, very nice cut by Michel Perrin.
Okay. cut is good.
No need to investigate that one. 2 clean cookies on the deck, and our first heat is done and dusted. The team will come out, clean up that stage as we'll take a quick look back here. Big pickup as he went way above the block, but you can see there was a slight outward angle, but the transition, holy moly, that was quick. Barely any swing at all. His targeting was perfect and on point. 2 good cookies on the deck, thin to win as well. So very, very nice cut by Michel Perrin. Okay, heat number 2, Alberto Fumagalli up against Andrea Rossi. Now, Andrea Rossi's been around all the disciplines, so he knows exactly what has to happen here. And this is a discipline, again, where he doesn't favor it, but he is proficient at it.
Si può prendere e iniziare ad effettuare quello che è il taglio delle 2 fette nel minor tempo possibile. Record italiano di 10 secondi e 50.
So Fumagalli was impressive on his underhand chop. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he performs here in the stock saw.
Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, very good start by both gentlemen. Fumagalli with a nice thin cookie. How's his transition? Oh, he's got a cut out there. He needs to be careful. He's going to have to go back and cut another one. Yep, he's got it lined up for that second cookie, but that's going to kill his time. Andrea Rossi, I believe, also had a problem. And we've got 2 really rough times here because of some small mistakes. So as long as no line is cut, and as long as there are 2 complete cookies on the deck, these cuts will count. We will see. Tough go for both of these gentlemen, though.
Okay. Stand 1 is good. Stand B, it's a DQ. Cut over the line.
Oh, that is unfortunate for Andrea Rossi. And that's a rough situation for him as well because a DQ means 0 points. Let's see what happened here. So both gentlemen started fantastic. Good cuts. Andrea stepped into his cut. Let's see what happened on the transition here for Andrea Rossi. All right, we're going to stick with Fumagalli. There's the cutout for Fumagalli. He recognized it, albeit a little bit late into his cut, and decided to just recut on the up. And that was I think that was even a 3rd cookie for Andrea Rossi. Ah, yeah, there's the cutout for Andrea Rossi. He went back in, tried to find his upcut line, and went a little bit too far over on the top of that and cut out. So that is an unfortunate DQ for Andrea Rossi, the legend. And Alberto Fumagalli with a 16.87 currently sits in 2nd place as we get ready to go with heat number 3. Michael Delpin against Riccardo Ambrosini. Michael Delpin is very, very good with the stock saw. Personal best of 11.06. Riccardo Ambrosini, his experience playing a role here as well with a 10.60.
Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Great start by Delpin and Ambrosini. Both dropping it at the same time. Fantastic transition by Delpin. Ambrosini close to that blue line, and it's a good cut from it. Delpin and from Ambrosini. Are both cookies good on the deck and no cut lines is the question. Ambrosini looked like he came pretty close to that blue line, and that's what our judges are looking at right now to see if that is in fact the case.
Okay, both cuts are good.
All right, so it's official. Both cuts are good. And Michael Delpine with the fastest cut so far of 11.68 moves into that top position. No hesitation there at all. Nice thin first cookie. Watch the transition here though. This was a bit of a swing there for Ambrosini and a bit of a fatter cookie there for Michael Delpine, but inside that 10 centimeter mark, so all good. Alessandro Chiapponi coming up next with Marco Locatelli. Bart Janssen marking that 10 centimeter line on that block. And again, a cut over that blue line, that blue wax line is grounds for a DQ. So that's the one thing that these guys don't want to do. They have a saying in timber sports, thin to win by sawing. And you want to get in there, make that cookie thin so it doesn't drag on the saw as you're cutting through, but at the same time, you don't want to be so thin that you risk a cutout, which is also an incomplete cookie. So here we go.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Bit of an angled cut there from Chiapponi. Transition was very, very nice. So looking quick on the upcut, although he did slow down quite a bit. 12.54 for Chiapponi. That's not his best time. That's a bit slower by about 2 seconds. Marco Locatelli, however, a bit slower with a 16.71. There you see the official scores up in orange on the screens on the stage there behind. Quick inspection on that block of Marco Locatelli because he had a couple of fairly sizable cookies there, and I believe he had a cutout. So they're making sure that they can puzzle back that block and see if there is a cut line or if both cookies are incomplete or complete on the deck. We'll see now as we get our decision.
Okay, both cuts are good.
All right, a little bit of a deep breath there by Marco Locatelli, 16.71. That time will count, although not as fast as he would like it. His personal best previous is 11.35. Here you can see a really nice start from Alessandro Chiapponi, but the saw angle was cutting in towards the bottom of the block, and this second cookie quite thick. And he actually slowed down on the upcut. There you can see 2 attempts to get back into that block. So that's what the judges were looking at to make sure that cookie was in fact complete on the bottom of that cut during the upcut, because there were a couple of tags in there. All right, so our next heat coming up, we have Mario Rebora against Oscar Frige.
Allora lo spettacolo di STIHL TIMBERSPORTS, ricordiamo di seguire naturalmente e taggare quelli che sono i profili social.
Time's pretty consistent across the board for all of our Italian athletes, in and around the 10 to 11 second mark, with change in some cases.
Mario Rebora e Oscar Frige.
So Oscar Frige will be on stand number 2 on the right-hand side of the stage, and Mario Rebora, that man right there, will be on stand number 1 on the left-hand side of the stage.
Okay, gentlemen. Warm up your saw.
Riscaldamento delle macchine.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
E allora
Oscar Frige and Mario Rebora, good start. Little bit of a pause by Rabora there as he lined up that upcut, but he's got a quick upcut. And both of them get just over the 13. In fact, Mario bore 14.42 and Oscar Frige with a 13.67. There'll be some adjustments there. 14.28 and 13.52 now, as you see on the screens up above their stands. So they are sitting down in the 5 and 6 position in the stock saw results. Let's not forget here, folks, too, that after these results, we'll take a look at the overall rankings after to see how it shifts about a little bit. One more heat to go, and that is Luca Panzeri and Daniel Filippi. Solid upcut. Took a long time in the transition at the bottom though. So as we get set for our final heat here in stock saw with Luca Panzeri and Daniel Filippi.
Allora eccoli che salgono Daniel Filippi e Luca Panzeri. Forza ragazzi! Allora, ultima batteria per la seconda disciplina della scorso. Allora, brevissimo, sarà tutto pronto.
Daniel Filippi currently sitting in 10th place with a good result here, though. Could jump up into the top 5. Solid stock sawyer. He's got a very, very nice personal best time of 10.97. So let's see how he does here. If he can get a solid time in the books and move himself up. Luca Panzeri.
Ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good start by Filippi. Panzeri. Wow. Panzeri's got a huge fat cookie. He's going to have a lot of trouble if he's not careful with that transition. Filippi, a little bit slower on his upcut, but he's got an 11.74, and that's going to help him a lot in the overall rankings here. Daniel Filippi with an 11.74 puts him in 2nd place. That's the 2nd fastest time, and that means he will move up into the top 5 in 4th place in the overall rankings. A bit of a tough one there for Luca Panzeri. He had a huge fat cookie to start things off with and didn't leave himself a lot of room, and it looks like we might have a cut line at the bottom of his block.
Okay. Stand number 2 is okay. You have a DQ. Cut over the line.
So that's our second DQ here in stock saw with a cut line, DQ rank 5. And that means no points for Luca Panzeri. You can see how big that first cookie was in comparison here to Daniel Filippi, who actually got the fastest time. Wow. After the Competition Control Center got in there and took a look at it, they improved his time, and now you can see right there, he tried to line it up. He was a little bit out at the tip of the bar there, and unfortunately had a cutout, then had to reposition, killed his time, and yeah, had a cut line at the end, so that is going to be a DQ for him. Too bad. Don't like to see the DQs because 0 points get awarded there. But Daniel Filippi, what a really nice cut by him. After adjustment, it was an 11.56. That puts him atop the stock saw results. We'll take a quick look here at the stock saw results and how that affects the overall rankings then, because there will be some shifting going on here. So Daniel Filippi with the fastest time in stock saw, just ahead of Michael Delpine in 2nd place and Michel Perrin in 3rd place. Alessandro Ciapponi with a solid cut in 4th, and Riccardo Ambrosini with a very, very nice cut in 5th place. So let's take a look now how that affects the overall results. And we'll see a little bit of shifting here. Michel Perrin goes up into the top spot. Michael Delpine Right behind him with Alessandro Chiapponi currently in the bronze medal spot. And in the running, Daniel Filippi right ahead of Alberto Fumagalli. So the top 5 guys are pretty close together as far as points are concerned. A good 6 points difference between 5th and 1st, but there is still all to play for here with one more discipline coming your way, and that is our standing block chop coming up next. Let's take a quick look at the tool and discipline for standing block chop. Standing block chop. At the standing block chop, the felling of a tree with an axe is simulated. A vertically positioned wooden block with a diameter of 30 centimeters has to be cut through both sides. A powerful and precise swing with the axe is the premise of a good result. All right, standing block chop coming up, and there you see our rundown or heat list, and Luca Panzeri, who had a really rough Stocksaw, will be our first athlete and only athlete on stage to start our heats off with. Then we're going to have Riccardo Ambrosini up against Daniel Filippi, who had the fastest time in stock. Then Mario Rabora, Oscar Frige, then Marco Locatelli, Alberto Fumagalli. And then in the final 2 heats, Heat 5, Andrea Rossi, Alessandro Chiapponi, and Heat 6, Michael Delpine up against Michel Perrin. And again, I see those 2 guys on a collision course with each other as the day progresses. 2 points difference between the 2 of them in the overall standings. Perrin on top with Delpine in 2nd place, and Alessandro Chiapponi just 3 points back there in 19, with Daniel Filippi 18 points and Alberto Fumagalli 15 points. So an improvement by Fumagalli in the standing block could have him move up the rankings a little bit. We'll see how it goes. This is a discipline that is definitely going to be a telltale, because we will be removing 3 athletes from the competition here, as we'll move on with 8 athletes after the standing block chop, as this is the last discipline in round number 1. And again, the athletes are required to set these blocks on their own. I mean, they can ask for a little bit of help, but essentially they are responsible for putting their blocks in place. So those hooks that the guys are hammering into the bottom of those blocks are called dogs. Once the dogs are in place, then they put a security strap around it just to make sure that they don't pop out during the competition and allow that block to loosen up at all. And final checks from our stage crew to make sure that everything is solid for these athletes. And here we go. Luca Panzeri, 36 years young, 95 kilos, 185 tall, big boy. So here is where he can really gain some points.
Allora, forza Luca, eccoci qui che arriva sul palco. Buona prova naturalmente a te.
Luke will have his block on stand number 1. So as I mentioned before, this is not about an elimination situation during these heats. This is why we see sometimes a single athlete out there when we have an odd number of participating athletes. It is definitely, in my opinion, better when there is another athlete on stage, because you just have that adrenaline, that push. And when you're out there on your own, it's a bit difficult. Here we go. Luca Panzeri.
2, 1, go!
One driver up, one driver down as he gets a little bit sticky there, trying to find his line through this block. You can see those blue lines that they marked on the block. That is how they want to cut and chip out of that block, and that first side a little bit lower down than the second side, so those drivers on that second side from on high will be able to cut through there. 8 cut first side, although he left a little bit of material on that first side, so it might be that he'll struggle on this second side for time as he passes the 33-second mark here. Big sticky hits there. Each time he's had to wrestle that axe out of the block. You can see now he's getting a bit tired, and those drivers are going in straight as opposed to on those angles. You want to have those angles nice and clean so that you're taking out the old wood and not cutting new wood. And you can see there it goes down in 55.60. He'll be happy with that though, as that is a personal best for him. He'll take that one any day of the week. So that's a very nice way to get into our standing block competition with a personal best. And as I mentioned, the wood is chopping very well here today. We've seen a lot of personal bests in the chopping disciplines.
The cut is good.
Official result there, 55.41 for Luca Panzeri. So right now, he is atop the leaderboard. And you can see here, you got that axe stuck in there quite a few times. So this is about experience and, you know, of course, axe choice. It looks like he's using a banana on that one, so the shape of the blade there. And it may be that the chisel is the better option. I don't know. That is for these guys to decide when they do their test blocks in the back, just to see how these blocks are hitting. But right now, that blade just keeps getting stuck in there. And you can see that is a lot of steppiness and a lot of salad in that block. So that was a bit of a slower cut, but he got himself a personal best, so he'll work on that. Riccardo Ambrosini up against Daniel Filippi next. Tail of the tape has the advantage going to Riccardo Ambrosini, but Daniel Filippi, a little bit younger, a little bit more power maybe. Power isn't everything here though. You have to have that control. You have to have that that accuracy. Keep an eye on Ambrosini's scarves as he cuts through. His accuracy is usually quite on point. Here we go.
2, 1, go!
Pace by Daniel Filippi is good. Ambrosini chipping out nicely there. Let's see if he's got clean sides on this block, as Filippi moved on to his second side already, and he is shaking that block big time. Looks like good cuts for Ambrosini. Getting near the 30-second mark here. Could we have a fast time? Filippi is looking to try and find his way through with the power drivers. Might be that there's just a bit too much material there, but he's got it. A 34.89 PB for Daniel Filippi. Very, very nice. Ooh, steppy second side there from Ambrosini, and I think he got a little bit tired after that first side. Now trying to find his way through the block. Narrowing down in 50 seconds as he passes that 50-second mark here. He's well past his previous personal best there. And he's got very, very sticky axes. One more driver should do it. Oh, he's got a thread holding on for dear life. And he finally pops it, but he's gone over a minute on this one. Boy, that is a rough time for Riccardo Ambrosini. That's double his normal time. Wow.
Okay, both cuts are good.
So personal best there for Daniel Filippi, 34.59, fastest time thus far in our standing block, as the team will come out and get things ready, and we'll take a look back here at the replays. Now, if you got the power, the accuracy, yeah, it plays a role obviously, but Filippi was just going in there with a ton of power. On this second side for Ambrosini, he just couldn't find a clean line. There was that final driver for Daniel Filippi, and there, nice pop. I love the way that block just jumped off the top of the axe for Riccardo Ambrosini as we get set for our next heat. And that is going to be Mario Rebora against Oscar Frige.
Bene, allora, prossimi due atleti in gara. Abbiamo Mario Rebora e Oscar Frige. Eccoli. Mario è già in posizione, sale ora Oscar Frige.
So Mario Rebora entered not through the rookies, but as an intermediate. So that means he was over the age of 25 when he started competing. 31 years old now. He has been involved since 2023 by the looks of it. He's got the standing block chop intermediate national record from the Rookie Cup 23 of 1:10.86. We'll for sure see an improvement here, as he'll be training that one to make sure that he has it on point. Oscar Frige. Standing block chop. Pro personal best 40.69 from last season. That was a really nice improvement compared to the year previous. He's been competing since 2022. Earlier, in fact.
A tutto il pubblico qui presente che sta godendo di questo bello spettacolo fatto di passione, di divertimento, ma anche di spettacolo e di adrenalina. Questo riteggia naturalmente quello che è lo spirito del
So the question is, how will Mario Rebora do here on stand number 1? And will Oscar Frige push him to a good solid time? I hope so. I'd like to see a personal best for Mario here.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Eccoli partiti.
A little bit of anticipation there by Mario Rebora. Good that he didn't get in there too fast though, but it looks like he started on time and no problems at all. Oscar Frige on his block as well, trying to get deep into that first side. Mario Rebora, a bit of a sticky one there, chipping out nicely now though, and you can see, yeah, you can see the accuracy is not there. He's a bit steppy, and on those drivers, the up drivers, he's a little bit flat. So that's going to cause problems for him. He sees Oscar Frige go around to the second side of his block and decides to go with him, although it's a bit of a shortcut on that first side in my opinion. Oscar Frige on the second side of his block, and his upcuts also just lacking a little bit of that experience. You can see going a little bit flat, and Rebora investigating that block. Oh, and he's hit something there. I don't know if it's a I don't know if it's a knot or whatever, but Oscar Frige drops that block in 54.15. That puts him currently in second place, and Mario Rebora struggling now past the minute mark and trying to find a line through that block with a bit of power. You can see he's just left himself too much material on that first side. Needed to take maybe 2 or 3 more drivers on the first side to clear that out, so the second side would be a little less painful. And it's 1:18.55, well past his previous personal best.
Ok, podcaster, good.
Allora, le prove sono valide, le prove sono corrette, quindi bravi ragazzi.
So you can see on this first side, a little bit of a hop there. Was chipping out okay, and then it just got slow on that second side for both of these gentlemen. I think part of the problem is that you put so much effort in that first side, then you move over to the second side, you get a little bit tired, and those 45-degree upcut angles just, they're not there, and you've got these flat cuts going in. You're cutting, you know, straight material, and you're not cutting the material out, you're just basically bending it and slicing it. All right, next heat coming up, Marco Locatelli against Alberto Fumagalli.
Si aggiudicheranno la prova finale, la prova con le 8 ricordazioni potentissime. E allora vado a chiamare Marco Locatelli, Alberto Fumagalli. E allora prossima batteria, eccoli qui, forza ragazzi.
I'm pretty sure that Marco's got little rubber duckies on his hat.
Allora si posizionano, attimo naturalmente della concentrazione prima della via.
All right. A little bit of a pause there from Bart Janssen as he had to shift around a slat in the stage so that there was no tripping risk here. Here we go.
Timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Eccoli partiti, forza Alberto e forza Marco. Dai.
Locatelli with a really nice style. Well back of that block and just using the length of that axe handle and moving to that second side quickly. Fumagalli moving over there about one driver behind. Oh, big split in that block for Locatelli though. And you can see that whole thing moving drastically with each driver. And Fumagalli, wow, what a time! 22:25. A personal best, and that puts him atop the standing block chop results. Locatelli with a 28:48, and that block was split down the middle. So every driver he put in, that thing moved like mad. That was taking away all the power from his hits. Nevertheless, though, Marco Locatelli with the second fastest time of a 28:06, but Alberto Fumagalli 22:17, personal best on both ends. Can you imagine, had that block not split, how much faster Locatelli would have been? Let's watch here again. Really nice style from Locatelli. I like it a lot. Fumagalli on the other side, just going in there with pace and power. And here, is this where we get to see that block split? No, this is Fumagalli. Yeah, really nice drivers there. And that final hit from Fumagalli, very nice. I like his reaction earlier on in the underhand though. And here, again, super happy with that. So his chopping disciplines are definitely where he's at. And yeah, you can see that whole block moving with each driver that came in from Locatelli. All right, next heat coming up, we have Andrea Rossi against Alessandro Ciapponi. And then in our final heat, Michael Delpine against Michel Perrin. Here's where we're starting to see personal best times under 30 seconds by a stretch, closer to 20. Alessandro's hair looks like it's exploded off the top of his head. I like him though. Always upbeat, always happy. Good man. Andrea Rossi as well. Two very excellent ambassadors for the sport of timber sports. You can hear in the background as well the teams out there on the stage making sure it is ready to go for our next discipline. 4 blocks getting placed so that we have 2 remaining heats ready to go.
Allora, pulizia del palco e poi siamo pronti per l'ultimo 2 e poi naturalmente andremo a vivere quello che è il secondo round delle prossime 2 discipline, solamente 8 saranno gli atleti impegnati nelle 2 discipline successive. Ok, allora siamo pronti con la batteria numero 5, Andrea Rossi, Alessandro Ciapponi.
Alessandro mentally going through each of his drivers.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Alessandro Andrea,
Quick start by Andrea Rossi, Alessandro Chiapponi, and Andrea Rossi both with pace in this block here. And you can see the experience of Andrea Rossi moving over to that second side now. Alessandro left himself a little bit of material on that first side. Was that a shortcut? Looks like it's the same for both of these guys. It could be a fast cut for Alessandro Chiapponi. It is a personal best for the young man at 21.89, and Andrea Rossi with a 24.18. And that leaves Alessandro Chiapponi with the fastest time of the day, and that moves him, let's say, temporarily into the top spot in the overall standings. Still one heat to go with two of our favorites, Michael Delpine and Michel Perrin, but that was a great cut from Alessandro Chiapponi. Very, very nice.
Okay, what cuts are good?
Andrea Rossi slips into third place there with a 23.75, just behind Alberto Fumagalli. Let's take a look at this again. Alessandro had pace and power in there. He was not holding back at all. He really wants that podium today. Andrea Rossi, wow, how clean was that final driver. Beautiful cut. Really, really nice. And it was really only one driver difference between the two of them. Okay, up next, Michael Delpine against Michel Perrin.
Allora andiamo a chiamare ultima batteria numero 6, Michael Delpine e Michel Perrin. Eccoci qui, buona gara, buona prova naturalmente a voi.
Michael Delpine barely recognizable without his signature dark rimmed glasses.
Alessandro Chiapponi, il record italiano, 14.91, record del mondo, 11.03, come vedete dal wall. Ultimi attimi di concentrazione, momento fondamentale prima dall'inizio della prova.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Eccoli partiti!
Wow, great start. Michel Perrin getting in there, and the pace he's got is absolutely frantic. Quick to the other side. Michael Delpine about two drivers behind, starting on his second side now, and Michel Perrin could have a quick one here. Oh yes, it's going to be a season's best, personal best, 16.37, and a personal best for Michael Delpine as well, a 19.44. Wow, holy smokes, folks, those were quick cuts. Michel Perrin really wants that top podium spot again, and he wants to be at the World Championships again, representing Italy.
Okay, what cuts are good?
All right, a season's best there. Very, very nice cut. It's about 55 tenths or 65 tenths of a second faster than the previous season's best. Michel Perrin with a 16.15 and Michael Delpine with a 19.10. Okay. All right, so standing block. This one belongs to Michel Perrin with an absolutely fantastic time of 16.15. Michael Delpine, 2.95 seconds behind him with a 19.10. Then Alessandro Chiapponi with a 21.65 PB, and Alberto Fumagalli also with a PB in fourth with a 22.17. Let's take a look at the overall here then. And that means in the overall standings, we've got a little bit of switching around here. Not by much, though. Michel Perrin stays at the top. Michael Delphine in second. Alessandro Chiapponi in third. Fourth place is definitely belonging to Fumagalli, so really no changes there at all. Fumagalli moves into fourth. Filippi gets pushed down to fifth, and that means we will lose Frige, Rebora, and Panseri from the competition here as we now move out of round one and into round two. Round two, two disciplines in this one. The first one coming up is the single saw or single buck. Let's take a look at the tool and discipline for that. The 2-meter-long cross-cut saw used for the single buck discipline is made especially for competition. A series of consistently patterned 10-centimeter-long teeth are cut with a laser on one side of the saw and then hand-sharpened. Saw teeth are divided into two types, cutters and rakers, just like on the old-school saws. The saw weighs about 5 kilos and its base price starts at around 1,500 euros. Single buck. The single buck is a one-man saw about 2 meters long. With this, the athletes have to cut off a complete disc of a 46-centimeter thick wooden block. The perfect interplay between rhythm and strength is the key to success. Okay, we're down to 8 athletes, in 4 heats, and heat number 1 will be Riccardo Ambrosini going up against Andrea Rossi. Andrea Rossi, fantastic in this discipline, one of the absolute killers with the single saw in hand. Then we have heat number 2 with Marco Locatelli and Daniel Filippi. Heat number 3, Alberto Fumagalli and Alessandro Chiapponi, and heat number 4, Michael Delphine and Michel Perrin. So again, these guys on a collision course with each other towards the final, and right now it's looking very good for our top 5 athletes in the competition. Only a few points, 10 points actually, separate 5th and 4th and 1st. Then we have Alessandro Chiapponi with 29 in 3rd place and Michael Delphine with 31 points in 2nd place. But Michel Perrin, 34 points in the lead, winning 2 disciplines and getting a 3rd place in the 3rd discipline in that first round. So that's consistency for you right there, folks. So that's what you want to have. You don't have to win them all, but if you're consistent throughout, you could take the top spot in the overall competition. Right now, coming into our next discipline, that single buck. Now, that 2-meter-long cross-cut saw that you just saw the information on is often known in the industry as a misery whip. What will make it a misery whip? Well, if that saw stops mid-pull or mid-push, and you have to restart it. It is a bear to restart. It is not a light tool. If that stops and you've got a thin cookie in a push through and that saw bows or bends and that cookie breaks off and leaving you a tab at the bottom, you've got to keep your wits about you to try and cut that tab off to make sure you've got a complete cookie on the deck. Otherwise, it could result in a disqualification. Now you can see there, Andrea Rossi comes on stage wearing his flip-flops over his shoes. That's because he is wearing spiked shoes. There's shoes with nails on the bottom. And Riccardo Ambrosini, he's also wearing those spiked shoes. They're like track shoes, but opting not to bother with the flip-flops or the Latschen, as they call them in German. And the reason why they have these spiked shoes is it offers better traction for this discipline, because you really want to use push and pull to your absolute advantage here when you're using that long 2-meter-long cross-cut saw. So here we go. First heat on deck as their saws come out. Riccardo Ambrosini on stand number 1 to the left, and Andrea Rossi, the legend, on stand number 2 to the right. see the difference there as well in their personal best times. Andrea Rossi holding the national record. And I said he is an absolute king in this discipline.
E poi saranno pronti i nostri atleti a sfidarsi in questa quarta disciplina.
So both of these gentlemen have put their saws in upside down and done a couple of test strokes. One to feel you know, the glide, as well as to clean out that little gap that you see right there. That's the pre-cut for the saw, so they're not cutting on that short wood and hopping the saw to get into it. It's pre-cut to give them a starting point to run through the heat here. And here we go.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Eccoli partiti, forza Riccardo e forza.
Very, very nice start by Ambrosini and Rossi. You can see Rossi using the full length of that saw, Ambrosini doing the same, but the pace of Rossi is just really fast, and you can see he's going to have a good time here. A 14.34 single buck. Ambrosini struggling at the bottom of his cut here, trying to find that line. Oh, and he got close to it, but it stopped a couple of times, hopping a little bit and blocking some as Bart Janssen heads over, helps him set his saw in his sheath. Very, very expensive saws, and you don't want to have any problems with somebody bonking the teeth there as they're laser cut and hand sharpened.
Both cuts are good.
So Ambrosini with a personal best 23.11, very, very nice. A 14.04, the time to beat right now from Andrea Rossi. And this could be the point where Andrea Rossi moves himself a little bit higher up in the overall rankings. The problem for him is he had a DQ in the stock saw, so that's completely missing points, and fourth place in the underhand chop and standing block chop. So it's going to be a tough road for him. It is possible. There's still a couple of disciplines to go, but it's going to be a hard job for him to make it among the top 6 as we move on past round 2. All right, Marco Locatelli and Daniel Filippi up next.
Entrano in ciabatte perché hanno delle scarpe chiodate e naturalmente fanno migliore grip sul palco e quindi posizionano i piedi in modo tale da fare una maggiore aderenza.
Yep, rubber duckies on his hat. I love it. It's fantastic.
Scarpe chiodate.
So Marco placing his saw very, very close to the edge there, about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters away from the edge. So it's thinner than typical, normally about 1.5 inches, about 5 centimeters is what we're seeing. But that is the wish then to win. There you see, quite close. So he's got to be real careful here that he keeps that line straight during his cuts and keeps that saw moving smoothly. Let's go.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Eccole via, forza ragazzi, forza Marco, forza Daniel.
Good start by Locatelli. Oh, and he bows a couple of times there. That's one of the reasons why they call that saw the misery whip, but he got back into it fairly quickly, and now he seems to be picking up the pace as he heads towards the bottom of that cut. Could be a nice cut by Locatelli here. Is he going to get his personal best? I don't think so, although he's coming for... Oh, yes, he's going to do it. He's done it. 23.10, no tab left at the bottom, and that was a nice cut for Locatelli. And a very good cut by Filippi as well with a 29.01, faster than his previous personal best of 31.78. So previous personal bests are gone by the wayside by both Locatelli and Filippi. Filippi in 4th place in single buck, and Locatelli moved into 2nd place with a 22.87. Very, very nice.
Okay, podcast are good.
I tagli sono buoni e le prove
So on the short wood at the top,
sono
Locatelli had a couple of
valide.
skips, but once he got moving, he got that saw moving quick. We can see here. Watch what happens right here. Slow-mo went away on us, but yeah, the saw did a big bow, and you can see he was really shifting his elbow into that saw, so he was physically bending that saw, and then it got stuck a couple of times. But at the bottom here, he cut it really, really nicely. He got away with a little tab at the bottom at the last push through on his cut, so not bad. And a very, very nice cut by Locatelli. Second place for him, just behind Andrea Rossi. But the difference between these two guys is 8.83 seconds. So you can see where Andrea Rossi is in the single saw. All right, so heat number 3 coming up. Alberto Fumagalli going up against Alessandro Chiapponi. Fumagalli's been a fun one to watch today. We'll see how he does on this single saw. Ooh, very nice personal best. Alessandro Chiapponi also has a very solid personal best here.
Bene, allora siamo pronti per quella che è la terza batteria. Quindi Fumagalli e Chiapponi.
Fumagalli waiting to do his set cuts, or I think maybe his set cuts are in. No, his set cuts are in. So Chiapponi has got his in position now. Full concentration by both of these guys. It's down to the seriousness now.
Okay.
Here we go.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
E allora ecco il canestro come lo trovo. Forza.
Oh, sticky saw there for Fumagalli. Chiapponi got right into it, and you can see he's using the entire length of that saw. As he gets into the long wood in the middle, you can see the tip of that saw disappearing. He is going tip to knuckles. Oh, a quick stop for him, but Chiapponi's got a 15.39. Just a hair slower than his previous personal best. Fumagalli a little bit off pace there with a 20.20, and you can see at the top of his cuts there, he slowed down a bit as that saw got stuck a couple of times.
E poi ci apprestiamo a vivere quella che è l'ultima batteria per la prova del single back.
Okay, podcast are good.
All right, so times are official now. 2023 for Fumagalli, 15.16 for Chiapponi. Chiapponi slips just behind Andrea Rossi in the single buck standings here with that second place time. And Fumagalli, yeah, not bad, actually, sitting in third place here. So Fumagalli is showing a lot of resilience here in this competition, staying pretty consistent. Second place in the underhand chop. Stock saw, yeah, it wasn't so great there. Third place in standing block, though. And single buck, he is currently sitting, or single buck, he is currently in second place with Alessandro Chiapponi. Third place with Alessandro Chiapponi in second, and Andrea Rossi still holding down top spot with one more heat to go. Michael Delpine against Michel Perrin. Both of these guys, absolutely great single sawyers.
Michel Perrin a 13.67 per Michael Delpine.
Chalking up the handles there. Make sure he's got proper grip.
Ok, gli ultimi attimi naturalmente di concentrazione per la Serreni, anche inserire la lama della sega all'interno del tronco e poi sarà tutto pronto.
Okay. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Michael Perrin, Michel Perrin.
Oh, look how quick that start was for Michael Perrin. He got right into it. And you can see he's highly motivated here. Michel Perrin looking good towards the bottom. Oh, and he got lucky with a 13-14 season's best. And he continues to improve. Michel Perrin is indestructible today. It is unbelievable.
E allora 17,54 per
Holy smokes, folks. 3 firsts and a third so far in the competition. Stock saw by far his worst discipline in third place. Michael Perrin, however, a third, a second, and a fourth. So he's staying consistent as well. Great heat there. Wow.
Okay. Podcasts are good.
prove valide, prove davvero molto buone, 13 e 16, sesso best per
So there shouldn't be any changes in the overall standings. We'll take a look back at the slow-mos, then we'll take a look at the single buck results and the overall. So look at this. It was a really, really nice start from Michael Perrin. Interesting choice to change the saw angle and start sawing at a steeper angle. I thought that he would have stayed more flat, but it worked for him. Michel Perrin stayed flat the entire cut through. You could see that saw completely disappearing on him. Michel Perrin got a little bit lucky at the bottom of his cut, and Michael Perrin there slowed down, got stuck a bit, was careful not to overpressure that saw and break that cookie off. And right here you can see that cookie broke and rolled off, and luckily enough it took that extra material with him. So a season's best there for Michel Perrin according to the list. Yep, and the top spot in the single saw. Andrea Rossi moves into second place in the single. Alessandro Chiapponi in third, and Michael Perrin in fourth. In the overall standings, no changes here really. We're going to see Michel Perrin stay on top, Michael Perrin in second, Alessandro Chiapponi in third, Alberto Fumagalli in fourth, and Andrea Rossi is in fifth. Daniel Filippi is on the bubble, but we have one more discipline still to come. It's going to be a while we set up the stage here, so I believe we'll take a look at the tool and discipline later on, but it is the springboard with 2 boards as we look back at some of the hits that we saw in the underhand. As you can see, springboard, the springboard discipline now.
Springboard simulates the traditional way of felling trees, climbing up over thick roots. First, notches known as pockets are chopped into the log. 2 springboards are then anchored into these pockets. The athlete then climbs up to chop through a 27 centimeter thick block of wood in the fastest time possible.
To set up the stage here for the springboard does take a little bit of time, and you can see the trees are getting put into place, and the athletes will then come out and place the blocks atop the trees as per the rule book. So what we'll do here, folks, is we'll step away for a few minutes, let the stage get set up, and return to action once the blocks are on top and our first heats are ready to go. Just so that you know, though, the first heat will be Riccardo Ambrosini going up against Andrea Rossi, Marco Locatelli and Daniel Filippi in heat number 2, Alberto Fumagalli and Alessandro Chiapponi in heat number 3, and again, Michael Perrin and Michel Perrin in heat number 4, as the audience there gets some of the soft cookies. No, those aren't real wood chunks that are being thrown out at the audience there. Seat cushions. So, folks, we'll take a step back and be back in about 10-15 minutes for our next discipline and final discipline in round 2, the springboard. Hang tight.
Grandissimo livello. E poi una delle discipline più belle, quindi bello. Allora lo spettacolo, naturalmente grazie anche alla passione dei nostri atleti, penso tu sei una atleta caratteristica dello triathlon maschile. Naturalmente cosa vuol dire? Cioè, perché loro hanno esibizioni questo pomeriggio di 2-3 ore. Però cosa vuol dire prepararsi magari un anno per un evento del genere nella continuità e nella costanza? Cioè, non tenere conto infatti quanti ore bisogna prepararsi, anche poi dicono da noi nel giorno della gara ma scendete 2 minuti, il resto del giorno cosa fate? Vedete noi che dalle 6 di mattina alle 10 di sera abbiamo un'ora libero, quindi sicuramente non c'è tempo da annoiarsi e anche come in tutti i sport, ma come in generale nella vita contano i dettagli, se uno cura i dettagli allora per fare la differenza bisogna lavorare dalla mattina alla sera, ricognizione, riscaldamento, di nuovo mobilità, riattivarsi il giorno dopo, guardare video, psicoterapista, preparare le cose, quindi c'è molto da fare. Quindi tutta questa continuità, questa passione dallo spettacolo che è stato di STIHL TIMBERSPORTS e naturalmente lo spettacolo che ci dona anche tu con le tue vittorie, naturalmente le tue gare. Cristo Pinerotto, ci vediamo anni dopo per la cerimonia di premiazione. Intanto so che sei qui, che osservi davvero molto attentamente. Fai tutto per qualcuno in particolare? Alla fine dico sempre che faccio tiro per tutti, poi alla fine dici forse si preparare di più e forse per una massa di più perché come vi ho detto sia in alto più alla fine si prepara sempre e quindi per fortuna e allora grazie Cristo Pinerotto, facciamo un grande applauso naturalmente a lui che resterà naturalmente fino al termine della gara, poi ce l'avremo per la cerimonia di premiazione. Bene, allora ultimi attimi di preparazione, di musica, grazie al nostro Michel Andrea, ringrazio ancora una volta l'editore ufficiale 32, naturalmente andate osservate quelli che sono i diversi prodotti STIHL e poi naturalmente seguite e taggate, condividete quelle che sono le pagine social TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, STIHL TIMBERSPORTS Italia.
Nel frattempo che ci prepariamo allo springboard, ovvero una delle la disciplina più complicata ma anche più spettacolare da vedere, siamo alle battute avviciniamo, dicevamo, alle battute finali, le ultime due discipline, springboard e poi il rombo dei motori della Ottiso. Bellissimo vedere perché c'è un'area, una fascia all'ombra e che è bellissimo. Ricordiamo anche nel frattempo di seguire i profili per chiunque fosse incuriosito da questo mondo e da questo sport, profili ufficiali STIHL TIMBERSPORTS ITA. Abbiamo messo in palio anche la maglietta della nazionale italiana per chi è stato il più veloce a indovinare il pronostico. Invito anche tutti a postare le foto che avete fatto oggi taggando la pagina, così vi condividiamo più che volentieri. E tutti i giovani e le giovani, perché c'è anche un circuito femminile di questo sport, che fossero incuriosite a provare a diventare degli atleti e delle atlete, scrivete, contattateci perché ci sono proprio qui vicino a una ventina di minuti da qua delle possibilità di fare dei training camp. Io intanto anzi ringrazio gli amici social di Squeeze Podcast che sono stati con noi anche ai mondiali l'anno scorso, quindi seguite anche i loro profili che parlano di tutti gli sport possibili e immaginabili. E quindi, ricapitolando, chiunque fosse incuriosito e volesse provare le discipline STIHL TIMBERSPORTS, contattateci via social o scrivendo alla mail timbersports@stihl.it e potete provare un allenamento insieme ai nostri migliori atleti e chissà, magari l'anno prossimo essere su un palco come questo. Noi nel frattempo per causa temperatura abbiamo perso sia lo sprinter che il Michele sono arrivati qua a prendere il loro posto, mi fa piacere. Comunque tutte le domande che avete poi in merito a questa disciplina siamo ben contenti di rispondervi. E ricordiamo anche i prossimi appuntamenti a settembre. Ci sarà l'European Trophy, sarà in diretta anche su DAZN. E poi l'appuntamento come sempre più importante ogni anno è quello del mondiale che si terrà quest'anno a ottobre, il 30 e 31 di ottobre, anche quello sarà in diretta. Quest'anno sarà alla Porsche Arena di Stoccarda, il campionato mondiale di 100 anni di STIHL. Si preannuncia un mondiale incredibile. Quindi motivo in più di tensione per quelli che sono i nostri atleti e anche la possibilità di giocarsi e di guadagnarsi la maglia della nazionale. Quindi oltre a quello che sarà il campione italiano 2006 c'è in palio anche per i migliori classificati 2006, sì, campione italiano 2006 soprattutto, perché mi sono tolto dei panni, guarda carino. È vero che gli atleti, soprattutto Michel, è più lucido di me, che ho fatto leggermente meno, questo mi dà da pensare, Abbiamo recuperato il moderatore ufficiale, quindi ci ripasso parola. Grazie Giuliano, che è importantissime. Direi il 5% della tua partita odierna per questo prezzo. Sono quasi possibilità di quindi è buono. Allora, a proposito di campionato del mondo femminile, abbiamo qui sotto, vi raggiungerei sul palco la nostra atleta italiana che rappresenta l'Italia naturalmente nelle competizioni internazionali del mondo STIHL TIMBERSPORTS alla femminile. Ok, sì. Devo fare mia curva perché è 3 anni che prometto a questa donna di trovarle una compagna di giochi, una compagna di allenamenti. Donne, c'è anche il circuito femminile, quindi chiunque fosse incuriosito fate compagnia e fate soprattutto un applauso a Marta che farà un appello. La troviamo o non la troviamo? Un'altra atleta in Italia?
Speriamo di sì, per favore provate, è divertente, ve lo prometto, è bello.
Tu oggi non hai gareggiato, c'è un motivo, diciamolo, ormai è di dominio pubblico.
Quest'anno diventeremo genitori
per un Giappone junior o una lo sa, magari dobbiamo aspettare tanto però in quel caso, se fosse lei Va bene, grazie Marta. Tomo.
E allora grazie Giuliano, grazie naturalmente a Marta che la molti interessando le sapori, quindi giocano davvero tutto il caso di nasca un figlio e una figlia prodigio nel mondo, il Timbersport. Esatto Jacopo, è vero? Dov'è Jacopo? Marisa? Ah ok, eccolo lì, il piccolissimo Jacopo, dall'inizio alla fine ricordato in prima fila, meraviglioso. Bene, allora, brevissimo, sarà tutto pronto per questa disciplina davvero spettacolare, che è la disciplina dello springboard. Allora, facciamo anche un applauso a tutti i men in black, quindi a tutti il staff che davvero con passione, con velocità e professionalità va a ripulire, risistemare, riaspettare quello che è il campo di gara, e quindi grazie davvero al vostro prezioso e fondamentale contributo.
Che fino a ieri eravamo preoccupati della pioggia e del maltempo, e mi sa che è una preoccupazione superata. Stavo commentando prima la disposizione del lungo della ciminiera. Dovevamo mettere 3 o 4 di ciminiere l'anno prossimo, dobbiamo installare 3 o 4 ciminiere qua. Chi lo sa, no, non sappiamo dove farà tappa l'anno prossimo il campionato, però è anche questo un appello che facciamo, quindi chiunque magari si occupasse di amministrazione o di eventi in generale, se volesse ospitare quello che è uno show di Timbersport, può anche in quel caso contattarci e siamo felici di provare a portarlo.
Assolutamente, anche perché vedete è uno spettacolo davvero meraviglioso che coinvolge tutti, dai grandi ai piccini, davvero con grande entusiasmo, con la passione e lo spettacolo del mondo del legno che viene riassunto appunto in queste 6 discipline che stiamo naturalmente osservando. Allora, brevissimo, avremo la penultima disciplina, e quindi disciplina dello springboard, che viene definita quella che è la disciplina suprema, anche perché vengono posizionati quelli che sono 2 pedane all'interno del tronco, vengono creati dei pocket e quindi delle tasche dove gli atleti vanno ad inserire quelle che sono le pedane, salgono su entrambe le pedane e vanno ad infrangere quello che è il tronco alla sua sommità. Quindi uno spettacolo davvero incredibile, fatto sì di tecnica, sì di precisione, ma soprattutto di grande equilibrio.
All right, so here we go. Springboard heat number 1 up and ready to go. These guys were quick about it today. They got this stage set up very, very fast. And it's going to be Riccardo Ambrosini up against Andrea Rossi. Now you see the modified setup here where you have 2 boards. The guys have to get up on top of the 2 boards like we saw with the earlier demonstration of what this discipline is all about. For me, this is really the one that is going to determine, or in a lot of cases, make or break how well you move on to this competition. This is the last discipline in the second round, and the discipline where these guys have to cash in as many of the chips as they possibly can to get the points they need to move on to the top 6 and the final round, which is the hot sauce. So here, it's about getting up there quick as a wink and getting through that top block. Here we go.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Ok, allora eccoli, che iniziano la loro prova. Riccardo Ambrosini e Andrea Rossi vanno ad effettuare quello della prima tasca.
6-hit pocket there for Andrea Rossi. He gets his board in place and he is up to try and set that second pocket. This is the all-important pocket. Want to try and get it set as quickly as possible and make sure you've got a good stable board up there. You don't want to be 2 meters up in the air with a sharp instrument in the hand and have that board slip out. Ambrosini has his first board in. It's a little bit saggy, but he's not going to worry too much about that first one. He wants that second one in place and have it stable. Andrea Rossi setting his second board now. You can see how those pockets are getting cut. Rossi looks like he's got a pretty decent board up there as he starts working on that top block. His personal best time is just over 1 minute and 9 seconds. So he's going to try and get it done, but he's already at the minute mark here, so I don't think it's going to happen today unless he has the fastest ever standing block up there on top. This is such a tough discipline, though, this particular one, because there's so many things that need to go exactly right. Andrea onto that second side now. 5 or 6 drivers here should put him through. Oh no! And Ambrosini turned around, lost his axe as he tried to get up onto that second block, and Andrea Rossi's got it through in 1:20.64. But Ambrosini's in a bit of trouble here trying to get up onto that second board now, as he has just about a minute to get through that top block, and that's going to be a tough one to chop for him now. He's standing very, very close to the block on that top board. He can step back because he's got a good board. So right now what he's doing is, because he's so close to that block, he's shoulder cutting. He's not really using that hip rotation and push off that back leg, because the confidence clearly isn't there for his board. And he's tired. You can see it. He's breathing heavily. Got just over 15 seconds to get through there before its time limit exceeded. It doesn't look like it's going to happen for Riccardo Ambrosini. Oh, that is heartbreak there for Ambrosini, because that second board was beautiful. It was so stable. He barely moved it. Had he been able to get up there without the axe falling out of the block and landing on the ground, he might have had a better result here, but that is a DQ for Riccardo Ambrosini. And this is what I was talking about here. This particular discipline is so difficult on so many levels.
Okay, this time is good. This time, DQ out over the time.
All right, so Andrea Rossi has a time locked in. A little bit of improvement after the Competition Control Center managed at it. It's 1:18.48. Quick cleanup of the stage. Springboard's out, and we'll take a quick review here. So the cutting of the pocket is such a crucial factor here. The best in the world will cut that pocket, 4 hits, board in, 4 hits, board in, and then they'll get up there and they'll go to work on that top block, and they'll have their back foot way out on the back of the board. You can see here, the axe came out of the block where Ambrosini had secured it, and he had to go back down to get it and start again, and this is where it killed him here. DQ because of time limit exceeded. But that was really a beautiful board. It was about the most perfect board you can imagine on that top spot, so he could have used that to his advantage. All right, Marco Locatelli and Daniel Filippi. This will be the first time Daniel Filippi will be competing with this particular discipline, so if he gets a time in under 2:30, it will be a personal best for him no matter what. Riccardo Ambrosini, excuse me, Marco Locatelli has a time already in the books. So we'll see how much time these guys have taken in training to make sure that they are ready to go for this discipline. And this discipline really does mess with your head, you know? You have to remember 2 meters off the ground and chopping wood. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird situation for anybody.
Bene, allora ultimi attimi di concentrazioni e poi entreremo in gara. Daniel Filippi, Marco Locatelli.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Prova iniziata, forza ragazzi, forza Daniel, forza Marco, eccoci qui. Stanno iniziando.
6-hit pocket for Filippi.
Allora, già creato la prima tassa.
Locatelli still working to get that pocket set. About 8 to 10 hits, I think, to get that one. Oh, he didn't like that at all. That board did not take hold. You can see Filippi's got a bit of a sagger as well on that first board, but critical for him is getting that second pocket set and getting that second board in place. There's a board for Locatelli now. He's got some angle on that one. Filippi's got to get up on that second board. Let's see if this one takes purchase. It does, but there's a bit of sag there, and that's going to cause a bit of a mind bender for Filippi, as he will, as it is not choking up on the axe in this case, but choking up on the board that he's standing on, meaning, again, shoulder cutting. That's going to be tiring as time goes on. As we near the minute mark for both of our athletes here, Filippi already on that top block, but he's got a bit of a saggy board, and Locatelli getting that second board set. Now he's got a minute 30 seconds to make sure that he can get up there and start working. Filippi's board seems to be holding, but it does have that sag. Locatelli, his board's a little bit more solid, so he can work from that back foot a little bit better, but both of these boards have a bit of a down angle, so that makes it a little bit more difficult to really put pressure on that back foot and use your hip and the rotation of your core in order to really put the power into that axe. 1 minute left, just under. So these guys both are at risk of DQ here if they can't get onto that, what I like to call the awkward angle on that backside, and cut through within that time limit. Filippi is close to switching, I believe. He's gone very deep on that first side, which is tactically maybe the smartest thing he could do, but he's got 30 seconds now to get that awkward angle and get through there, and he should be able to do it. He's gone quite deep on that first side. Locatelli now moved to the second side of his board. He's done a great job to catch up with Filippi on the top there, but 15 seconds to go for both of these guys, and we got a couple of sticky axes here, so who's going to get it? Are they going to get it? Is the big question. It's getting close. Oh, yes, and they both do it. And there's that personal best I talked about for Filippi. He's happy to have that done and dusted. 2:22 and change. And 2:21.49. Boy, they kept it close to the wire on this one, these two gentlemen.
Che fatica questa prova davvero. Una prova che mette alla prova in tutti i sensi, per la precisione, per la potenza, per la tecnica, per l'equilibrio. E quindi bravi davvero ragazzi.
So if Locatelli could have had that second board looking like his first board, I think probably you could have maybe cut about 10 seconds off his chopping time. That's what a difference the position of these boards really, really makes. And Filippi giving that tree a slap.
Good.
All right, so we have times in the books. Andrea Rossi still with the fastest time so far with a 1:18.48. Locatelli with a 2:21.28. And Daniel Filippi with his personal best 2:22.06, as this was the first time he is competing in the tree. Watch this first check here. It didn't take purchase at all. He had to go back in there and fix that pocket. That's called housekeeping, folks. And he had a lot of it to do. Now you see this board here. It put him up a little bit too high for that pocket that he wanted to, so he was really deep in the knees to set that second pocket. And the second pocket, it held, but it was sagging a little bit for both of these gentlemen. And when that board sags, there's just nothing to push off of on that back foot. So you're shoulder cutting the whole time. You don't get the power, you don't have the endurance, and it just makes things really, really tiring. And again, this is why I call this that make or breaker. I mean, a lot of people call the hot side the maker or breaker. This is for me the maker or breaker, because here it's where championships can be lost. Yeah, a little bit more up angle on that board for Locatelli, and you're looking at an improved time by, I'm going to say, a good 10 seconds. There you go. And there's the realization, I made it inside of the time limit. But look how close it was, 9 seconds. All right, and it is like a beehive out there now as our next two heats set their blocks in position atop the tree stands and get ready for heats number 3 and 4. And again, heat number 3 will be Alberto Fumagalli up against Alessandro Ciapponi, and heat number 4 will be Michael Delpine against Michel Perrin. Now, what I will say about the springboard discipline is it's been used in logging for centuries as a way to get up above branches on tall trees and cut them down piece by piece. It's only been a timber sports official discipline for a few years, and only recently in the last 2 years have the rookies, our new athletes, started learning how to use the springboard in the single board discipline. So what we'll see is in the next 4 to 5 years, the times in springboard will dip significantly, and we'll see under-minute springboards across the board in all nations. And this is what a lot of these guys are dealing with right now, is because the springboard, not being a new thing, but a relatively young discipline for all of these various nations in the official STIHL Timber Sports competitions, it's been a sharp learning curve for many of these athletes, and especially some of the established pros who never had to do the springboard or did the springboard only sporadically in the past, having to add all of the skills that they already had into a completely new discipline with the springboard makes life very interesting indeed. And some of these, we'll call them experienced athletes, coming into an inexperienced discipline. But we're seeing improvements every day in every way for the springboard, and it is definitely fun to watch when you see these guys move up those blocks in a cat-like fashion. All right, last bits of preparation. Seems like we are good to go on stage. Final checks from the stage crew, and our next heat coming up, Alberto Fumagalli against Alessandro Ciapponi. And Alberto Fumagalli's been a fun guy to watch today. He has been in the mix the entire day. He is currently holding 32 points, but he has yet to do the springboard, so if he has a very nice springboard, he could get 16 points out of this one. That's theoretically speaking, of course, and move up the ranks quite significantly. At the moment, he is in 7th place. I imagine that if he can get a time of even close to his personal best 2:03.49, that we'll see him in and among the top 5. He needs to be among the top 6 if he wants to make it to the hot saw, which is our final discipline. Remember, we'll lose 2 athletes, the bottom 2 athletes, after the springboard, so 2 heats will determine what our top 6 lineup will be as the stage crew clears the ladders out of the way and Michel Perrin gets his springboards in place. He'll be in heat number 4. Before that, heat number 3 with Alberto Fumagalli and Alessandro Chiapponi. And this is something that I really, really love about the sport, is that these guys share. They share information, they share equipment, they help each other out. They know the value of seeing each other succeed, and that's an important aspect here for timber sports, because when one guy succeeds, then the entire sport succeeds. So it's lovely to see you know, them helping each other out and giving each other tips. Okay, here we go.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
So Alessandro Chiapponi definitely been training the off season here, and I think that was 5 or 6 hits for Alessandro. He got up there quick. Fumagalli still working on that bottom pocket. Chiapponi looking good though, as he is on that first board, and that is a very nice first board. So if he can mimic that on board number 2, he'll be in good stand to perhaps get this thing done in under a minute, and that would be very good for him. No house cleaning needed there as he gets up onto that second board. Looks pretty flat from my perspective here, and he gets to work on that top block. Now, yeah, he's got a flat board, and he can really work it. Fumagalli setting his second pocket now, taking a long time with those pockets, so that is the critical thing here. Get those pockets set, get that board in place so you can start working on that top block. You can see that board from Chiapponi. It is wiggling and waggling. That's why they call it a springboard, but he's working well on that top block. It's not going to happen in under a minute, but he may have a good solid time here. His previous personal best was 109.05, and he's already on that awkward angle second side. He's not going to get the previous best time, but he's going to have a good time nevertheless with a 113.41. That puts him on top of the leaderboard in springboard. Now Fumagalli has time now. He's putting in some good effort on that top block, chipping out nicely. If he's smart, he'll go real deep on this first side. He's got a minute now to get this thing done. Previous personal best 2:03.49. Will we have a PB here? My fingers are crossed for him as he switches to that second side. Did he leave himself too much? No. Let's see if he can get through that second side. Chiapponi rooting him on. That's nice. He's got a lot left there on that one side. He's going to have real trouble getting through here. One more driver should do it. Nah, come on. Fumagalli's got it 2:07.01. It's not a personal best, but he's got a good time. Puts him in third place, just behind Andrea Rossi. So that means he moves up into third place currently, and that means worst case scenario, worst case, Fumagalli will be in 5th today, which means we'll see him in the hot zone.
Vincerà una MSA 220. Adesso vediamo intanto l'arbitro cosa ci dirà rispetto a queste due performance.
Okay. Podcast are good.
All right, so time to beat right now belongs to Alessandro Chiapponi with a 113.12. We have 2 very strong guys coming up next, though, in heat number 4, Michael Delpine and Michel Perrin. And we can see here, Fumagalli, it was about his pockets, and that's all. The top cut was great for him. He had a really nice, quick top cut, but the pockets just took too long. Chiapponi, a couple of sets on that first board. And that's really what it's about, is those pockets. And then being able to get up and do it as quickly as possible. A quick 4-hit pocket, another quick 4-hit pocket, and then you can take your time on that top block as needed. All right, heat number 2, Michael Delpine, tail of the tape, puts him fastest of all the guys today with a 59.73. Michel Perrin, 118.48. It's going to be interesting, because that is exactly the time that Andrea Rossi has right now. So Michel Perrin hopefully has been working in the off-season to make sure that he has this discipline down pat.
durante questo campionato italiano 2026. Gli ultimi attimi di preparazione, di concentrazione e poi saremo pronti con quella che è l'ultima batteria in questa prova appunto dello springboard.
It's a funny thing about Michael Delpine, he is an analytical athlete as well. Not only is he fit, not only can he chop and saw, but he is an analytical athlete. And you could see that in his eyes sometimes. He'll be staring at a block and he'll be analyzing how to get through that block as quickly as possible. It's quite an interesting phenomenon. Maybe you'll see that here as things slow down before those first drivers.
Vedremo. Se no, noi lo diamo, esatto. Anche questo lo trovate naturalmente nel rivenditore ufficiale. Tutto pronto.
Okay. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
E allora ecco il partito. Forza. Michel Perrin, Michael Delpine, prova dello
5-hit pocket for Delpine there. Tries to get that board in and get some purchase. He's got good purchase there, Delpine. Looking good, Michel Perrin on his first board. Delpine working on his second pocket. Oh, that was a great pocket for Delpine. 4 hits and he was in. Took a little bit of time setting that tooth in place though, and now he's got to get that axe out and start working on that top block. Sticky axes right away, and Michel Perrin is on his block now, or in his top board. Both boards looking pretty good. Perrin has a bit of a better board as far as the position. Delpine sagging a little bit, and you can see he's got his right foot right up close to the tree, and that means, you know, you can see the difference here, exactly why it's so good to have a good board. Look at Perrin's back foot. It's almost at the back of that board. He's got a lot of space between the block and the tree and his front foot, his right foot, and he can really apply a lot of pressure and power into those drivers. Onto that second side now. And Michel Perrin with a 119.78. Somebody pushed the buttons on Michael Delpine's too early, as he hasn't switched to that awkward angle yet. And the time still counts now. 1:30. He's got a minute left to get through this thing here. So Michel Perrin in 3rd place in the springboard. And this time is well past the personal best of Michael Delpine. But he's got 4th place there, just behind Michel Perrin with a 1:46.30. So nobody today under a minute in the springboard. It's a tough day on the tree.
C'è la passione, c'è il talento, c'è l'impegno, naturalmente c'è la voglia di fare bene e naturalmente con i piedi per terra. Sentiamo naturalmente quello che è il giudizio.
So you can already see Michael Delpine, he's analyzing those pockets and seeing how can I do it differently next time.
Okay. Both cards are good.
I tagli sono corretti, i tagli sono buoni, bravi.
All right, so that is all she wrote for springboard. We'll take a look back here. So watch this second pocket from Michael Delpine. It was beautiful. This is the first pocket we're seeing here. So one driver. Oh, you're not going to show it to us. Ah, man. Well, that was a 4-hit pocket for Michael Delpine, if I counted correctly, on that second board. But the speed didn't give him the stability, and he had that right front foot in a saggy board. So it took him a lot longer than normal to get through there. Meanwhile, Michel Perrin, really, really nice board. Good cut, and the 3rd fastest time in springboard. So that's seeing Chiapponi with the fastest time in springboard. Andrea Rossi holding on to that 2nd position, and Michel Perrin in 3rd. Michael Delpine and Alberto Fumagalli in 5th place on the spring. If we look at the overall standings here, we'll see who we are going to be losing and how that switches around things a little bit. So Chiapponi has now moved into second place in the overall standings. Michael Delpine slips down to third, Andrea Rossi in fourth, Fumagalli in fifth, and Locatelli in sixth. That means we will be losing Daniel Filippi and Riccardo Ambrosini from our competition so far today. And that means we have our 6 guys lined up for the final discipline in round number 3, and that is the hot saw. Let's take a look at the tool and discipline for hot saw. It is a beast.
These custom, handmade, race-tuned machines are built for maximum power and precision and to cut the wood as fast as possible in a competition. They are built with a 60 to 80 horsepower single-cylinder 2-stroke engine, often taken from a snowmobile or high-powered motorbike. The hot saw can weigh up to 30 kilograms and its chain rotates at over 250 kilometers an hour. The cost of a competition hot saw used in STIHL Timbersports is upward of 6,000 euros. Hot saw. For the hot saw, power saws are called into action and the athletes have a space of 15 centimeters to cut 3 complete discs off a 46 centimeter thick wooden block. Jumping the start or cutting over the line will result in a disqualification.
All right, last tree stands being removed from our stage as we get set for the hot saw. And here is our lineup. We are going to see in Heat 1, Marco Locatelli going up against Andrea Rossi. Heat number 2, Alberto Fumagalli up against Michael Delpine. And heat number 3, Alessandro Chiapponi up against Michel Perrin. And you'll notice that this is in reverse order of the current standings. At the moment, Michel Perrin is in the lead with 62 points. Alessandro Chiapponi with a great tree and the top spot in that discipline has 57 points. So he is definitely in the mix with a very good hot saw. Michael Delpine has 51 points and could potentially get 18 points if he has a very fast hot saw. But these power tools, these machines, they're race tuned and very, very finicky. And we'll get a chance to see one of these get started here. And you'll just get a chance to see how loud and how powerful these saws really are. Ah, yes. This is one of the reasons why they get a backstage warm-up before competition and a warm-up prior to the race. Now watch that jump in his hands. Dan Jansen doing the warm-up here for the supplied hot saws from the organizer, BJ Events. Some athletes don't have their own saws, so in these cases a saw is provided for them. Other athletes have saws built for them. And generally there's 2 types of motors. There's a Rotax motor and the Wankel. You can usually hear the difference on stage as well. The Rotax is a little bit whinier, a little bit higher pitched. That Wankel has a deep, throatier growl. You can see on this particular saw that they're showing us here has got the harvester bar on it, which is a long straight bar that guides the chain around at that 250 kilometers an hour. There is also a different type of bar that's got a bit of a more bulbous middle. Dan doing those last bits of adjustments.
Daniel Filippi e Riccardo Ambrosini, gli facciamo un applauso che si sentono, quindi Daniel Filippi e Riccardo Ambrosini, grazie davvero di cuore.
Dan making it look easy.
Questo è il rombo, è solo un assaggio, signore, non si spaventi. È solo un piccolo assaggio perché dopo ne vedremo davvero delle belle, brevissimo sarà tutto pronto per l'ultima prova, la prova della hot zone.
You can see our two stands set up with the Lexon safety shields front and back of each stand. Those are basically bulletproof windows, for lack of a better description. You know, if a chain or a piece of material flies off of that saw at speed, you need something to make sure that you are protected if you're standing on the sidelines or if you're one of our judges or one of our cameramen. And we are just seconds away from starting our next discipline, the hot saw, and this is for all the marbles. Here is where you can gain 18 points as the top score. And for some of these guys, 18 points could be a huge, huge deal. Above all, Alessandro Ciapponi and Michael Delpine. These guys are both 51 for Michael Delpine and 57 for Alessandro Ciapponi. So a good hot sauce score and a bit of a flub by Michel Perrin, who has 62 points and is atop the leaderboard at the moment. He has a good stranglehold on that top spot, but as we say, anything can happen in the hot saw, and if you get a slow time and drop down the leaderboard, your points change drastically. And again, the top 6 athletes in reverse order. So Marco Locatelli will go up against Andrea Rossi here. Alberto Fumagalli will go up against Michael Delpine, and Alessandro Ciapponi will go up against Michel Perrin. So we've got one saw in position. We just need the second saw up there, and of course, kind of important, we need the guys that are going to be operating those saws to be up on stage. So the list has been placed in the tent as Michael Delpine is waiting for his chance to get up on stage in heat number 2. Hello, Raiko. How are you? Raiko, our stage manager. He's the guy that's responsible for pretty much everything that happens up on stage there and for the on-site sound for the live audience. So he's got a lot of balls in the air as he juggles what's happening backstage and on stage. And you can see I was mentioning those bulbous bars. That's one example that is being carried out right now of a bar that has a thicker middle. And I believe that is a Wankel motor as well. So you'll hear that one a bit of a deeper, throatier, louder, growly kind of noise that it makes. I love that one. This is exactly the right sport and discipline for anybody out there who's a bit of a gas head or a motor monster. So Andrea Rossi is going to give his saw a quick start here. This is one of those custom built models. So Andrea's saw sounding pretty good. That poppy sound that you heard at the beginning when it was going, that's it's heating up the cylinder there, and then a couple of quick pulls on the throttle, and that opened it up a bit, and then you could hear it smooth out a little bit. So that's exactly what he wants to have, and that's the sound that he's going to need to have on stage just before the, let's call it cold start on stage, as Andrea gets his way up onto the stage for this heat number 1. there's never not activity on the backstage. There's always something happening. Saws being serviced, axes being sharpened, blocks being dismantled and built. Michael Delpine struggling to get that saw running here. Those first warm-ups, here we go. Michael motor. Listen to that growl. Nice.
Tanto continua, come sentite, quello che è il riscaldamento delle macchine, queste motoseghe davvero potentissime, motoseghe elaborate e utilizzate solamente in questo contesto di performance, in questo contesto di gara.
Perfect view of Andrea Rossi's spiked shoes there, bringing those back into play. And again, this is a discipline where you absolutely want to have grip on that floor, because that saw does not like you. You may have built that saw, you may have fed that saw, but that saw will eat you if it has a chance. And it's a very dangerous piece of machinery, so you want to make sure that you are not falling or letting anything untowards happen when that saw is in your hand, and that includes having proper grip on the floor. Not everybody goes for the spike shoes, but those that do know what's up. Oh, always the same with those very, very cold starts here. Alessandro rewrapping that starter cord. There we go. That saw is breathing well right now.
Ricordiamo anche che all'inizio, prima dell'inizio della gara, abbiamo lanciato un contest in cui regalavamo al più veloce a fare il pronostico sul vincitore la maglietta.
Although that's a very loose chain for my liking.
Il migliore riceverà un direct su Instagram, quindi sarà invitato qua.
Allora, ultimi attimi di preparazione, ultime accezioni per l'ultimo riscaldamento delle macchine, quindi delle 8, e poi saremo pronti con le 3 batterie che naturalmente andranno a decidere l'epilogo di questo campionato italiano 2026.
Okay, so it looks like it's official now. Marco Locatelli and Andrea Rossi. Andrea Rossi holding the national record for the hot saw for Italy. Marco Locatelli with a personal best time of just a hair over 7 seconds.
Ultimo atto di giornata, campionato italiano 2026. E allora, eccoli qui i nostri due atleti, Marco Locatelli, Andrea Rossi. Facciamo un applauso a loro? Dai, 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 dai!
All right, so in this case, as you saw earlier on in the tool and description, we see a 15 centimeter piece of this 46 centimeter block that needs to be cut through, and you need to cut 3 cookies instead of 2 with these extremely powerful saws. Here we go. right, saws are warmed up. They'll rewrap those starter cords. It is going to be a so-called cold start, so the athlete will have to come down off the block, start the saw, cut down, then up, then down again to get 3 cookies on the deck to qualify. And it is blindingly fast and extremely loud, so folks, don't blink when this thing happens, and hopefully all goes well for the 2 guys on stage right now, Marco Locatelli on the left and Andrea Rossi on the right.
Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, it looks like Andrea Rossi's done a 7:13. That's a new national record, so he's beaten his own previous time of 7:18 by 0.5 of a second. Very, very nice run from Andrea Rossi. It's the top spot at the moment in hot saw. Marco Locatelli, 11.70 seconds, a little off his pace, but he'll take it as long as there's no DQ.
Okay. Both cuts are good.
All right, there you go. And it is actually an updated time for Andrea Rossi, 7.08. A lovely cut, 3 on the deck, and he's got the time to beat for the moment. So let's take a look at Locatelli here. Bit of a swing as he resets on the upcut. Oh yeah, he got a bit of a cutout there, so he had to go back and cut another cookie, I believe. So here's a big fat cookie number 3, and he came real close to that line at the bottom. I'm surprised there wasn't a DQ there, and that just was a really, really nice clean cut from Andrea Rossi. A little bit of hesitation at the top of cut number 3 to make sure he was lined up, but he got it done. All right, heat number 2, Alberto Fumagalli and Michael Delpine. Michael Delpine, pretty solid personal best time of 8.90. I'm interested to see how Fumagalli does here. He's been really, really consistent throughout the entire day, and it's been fun to watch him in the chopping discipline celebrate his personal best, so that's really, really nice as well.
Allora eccoci con I prossimi 2 atleti, seconda batteria. Alberto Fumagalli e Michael Delpina. I prossimi 2 atleti che si affrontano, seconda batteria.
So using their wax or grease pens to mark that block exactly where they want to target for their cuts. Again, only 15 centimeters to make it happen. So thin to win is the key here for sure. So Fumagalli using a saw provided by BJ and STIHL. And Michael Delpine has his own custom-built saw, or he's borrowing from somebody. I'm pretty sure that's his own saw, though. Looked pretty comfortable with it in his hands earlier on, so we'll see how it runs for him here today.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saw.
All right, good starts for both of these guys, as there was no drama on the pull, and so they'll reset and get ready to go. Look at those teeth. Holy moly. Are those aggressive or what? And then those things turning at 250 kilometers an hour? Yeah, no thanks. Makes this piece of wood look like a birthday cake and a hot knife. Michael Delpine in math mode now. He is set.
Athletes,
There we
ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Both guys struggling with the cuts a little bit. Michael Delpine had to go back and cut another cookie. I think he had a cutout, but I'm not sure. Maybe he saw something that, oh yeah, there it is. That's on Fumagali's block there. So, and that is an incomplete disc. That means we're going to have a DQ for Fumagalli because his third cookie was a massive chocolate chip block, and that means that he didn't have enough space to cut another cookie to get 3 on the deck. So we're going to have the first DQ here, by the looks of it, in our hot saw, and we may see the same thing for Michael Delpine, who has been really consistent throughout the day. Let's see what the judges say when they come to front of house.
Okay, we have a DQ, stand 1 for incomplete disc. Stand 2, the cut is good.
Okay, so the cut is good for Michael Delpine, but the time of 11.64 has him in about mid-pack here, with a couple of guys coming that are very, very strong hot sawyers. So let's take a look here at Fumagalli. First cookie looked quite good. Transition, there's the cutout on the transition up. And then he went back in, very wide transition over. And then he knew it right away. He took away too much, didn't leave himself any space at all. Looking at this one here from Michael. It was right close to the body of the saw. He had the cutout, saw it, thankfully, went back in. Good thin cookie on that third one and got it on the deck inside the line. So he got lucky. All right, so here we are. Alessandro Chiapponi has an opportunity here to have a good cut and get, let's see if I do my math correctly here. Could theoretically get 75 points out of this cut, but that would mean Michel Perrin would have to be more or less DQ'd or get 4th place down. Don't quote me on that though. I'm not a math guy. I'm just making a wild guesstimate here. But there is a chance for Alessandro Chiapponi to win this thing if he has an incredible cut here today. And he's going to need it. He's looking good at the moment, in 4th place overall with 57 points. Michel Perrin, a solid 62 points. Still to cut. Right now, Michael Delpine was 66 in the lead.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saw.
That is a massive pull handle on Michel Perrin's saw.
30 seconds. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber.
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh my God, what a run! What a run by Alessandro Chiapponi. A national record and a 6.79. Fantastic. Michel Perrin with an 8.54. Holy smokes, folks. Was that incredible or what? Woo! I blinked on that last cookie and I shouldn't have. We just need thumbs up from a judge to make it official. But what a run by Alessandro Chiapponi. Holy moly.
Dei nostri giudici e quindi Alberto Corbetta.
Okay. Toccata. Good.
It's official. Alessandro Chiapponi with a national record 6.65. Incredible. Michel Perrin with an 8.47 ends up in third place. And you know what that means, folks? We have a new champion. Look at this. Watch this cut. No hesitation at all. The transition was beautiful. Oh, he got close on the top of that one, but it was a good cut, and he knew it. Chiapponi tagged it. Perrin tagged it, and he had to reposition on that upcut. Oh, look at that, though. The realization that he had a good cut, and he knew that right away. And the celebration, fantastic between the two of them. That's amazing. The camaraderie in timber sports is unmatched. Okay, hot saw. Chiapponi takes it. The previous national record did belong to Andrea Rossi, but now belongs to Alessandro Chiapponi with a 6.65. Michel Perrin with an 8.47 in third place in the hot saw. And that means in the overall standings, there will be a change at the top final results. Check this out. Chiapponi, 75 points. Michel Perrin, 74. Unbelievable battle there at the end. How close was that between those two guys? And what a I'm not going to say a come from behind by Alessandro Chiapponi, but he did such a good job. He was so consistent throughout the day, and it was just at the end in those last two disciplines. And now we get to look here. Glenn Pendleton still atop the European rankings with Martin Kalina in second, but Alessandro Chiapponi, by virtue of a great set of times today, sits in third place in the European rankings. That means at the moment he is qualified to represent Italy at the World Championships. So we'll set things up here on the stage for our awards ceremony and bring our athletes up from 11th to 4th, and then tell you all about those top three positions.
Andremo in cerimonia di premiazioni e naturalmente avremo anche tanti ringraziamenti da fare a tutti voi.
All right, looks like final preps are good to go. Raiko giving the boys on the sideline the thumbs up, and our on-stage moderator will come out and introduce each of our athletes in their ranking position.
Quindi rimanete qui che poi avete una maglietta del mondiale che avete anche penso visto l'anno scorso. Scegliete se volete fare una luna fare o meno. E ci siamo con le premiazioni.
Bene, allora, mentre siamo in attesa naturalmente che tutto sia pronto per la cerimonia di premiazione di questo campionato italiano 2026 STIHL TIMBERSPORTS, in compagnia con Daniele Berio, sindaco di Omegna. Tanto grazie di cuore per l'ospitalità. È stata una lunga giornata piena di sport, ma soprattutto piena anche di passione, quindi grazie a tutti voi e un saluto a tutto il pubblico che è rimasto qui per seguire questo bellissimo evento.
Sì, intanto buongiorno a tutti, vi porto i saluti ai personali dell'amministrazione comunale di Omegna. Spero che la vostra manifestazione si svolga, diciamo, nelle migliori condizioni, che siate rimasti soddisfatti. Per noi sicuramente è stata una bellissima giornata. Vi ringrazio per aver portato questo evento a Omegna, ringrazio STIHL Timbersport e ringrazio gli organizzatori di Omegna Summer Games che hanno avuto l'idea, il coraggio e questa dimensione per portare all'interno dei Summer Games anche questa prova titolata di campionato italiano. Non c'era mai stato a Omegna un evento di questa rilevanza, di questo tipo. Mi auguro che in futuro si possa replicare. Lo sport per noi è un argomento fondamentale, sia perché lo sport porta con sé tutti i valori che conosciamo, lo sport è qualcosa di magico, ma è anche un grande...
So for anybody that's interested in checking out more action, there are a few more events that are going to be coming up in the next little while. There's the Nordic Pro Cup Part 2. We also have the DACH, the Germany, Austria, Switzerland Pro Semi-Final, Pool C. That's coming up on July 25th. Nordic Pro Cup on July 15th. The second round of the French Pro qualifications on July 25th as well. The U.S. Men's Pro Championships coming up on July 26th. And the Nordic Pro Championships on August 22nd. And the French Pros on August 23rd. The Polish Pro on September 12th, the Canadian Pro on September 12th, the Canadian Hot Sauce Showdown, that should be interesting. Australia and Benelux are also in there. And of course, we have the Individual World Championships in October, the 30th and the 31st. The 31st will be the individual, the 30th will be the team championship. So that is going to be, yeah, lots of action leading up until the big celebration in Stuttgart in October. We hope you will join us during the stream in October, and if you can, do come by and check it out. I do believe there are still tickets available, but it is going to be one heck of an event there in Stuttgart at the Porsche Arena. It's always packed to the gills, and it is always absolutely vibe alive there. So tons of fun. Lots of action coming up throughout the summer, though, with a few more events. And, of course, as I mentioned, the European Pro Ranking. Glenn Pendleton still atop the Pro Ranking with the fastest times thus far. Martin Kalina from the Czech Republic, winning the Czech Pro recently, is sitting in second place. And Alessandro Ciapponi today has slipped himself into third place in the European rankings, with Gavin Thompson from Ireland sitting in fourth. So right now, as it stands, all four of those guys would represent their respective countries at the individual world championships. But there's still quite a bit more action to come this summer to determine the European rankings. So without further ado, let's bring out our athletes here and our officials for the awards ceremony for the STIHL Timbersports Italian Pro Championship 2026.
E Samuele Franceschini, colui il quale è stato il creatore appunto dei trofei, quindi Samuele ti invito ad andare vicino alle autorità. Vado a chiamare anche Christoph Innerhofer, il nostro super campione di sci alpino, che oggi è stato in compagnia insieme a tutti noi in questa giornata. E allora iniziamo a premiare i nostri atleti. Iniziamo dall'11° posto e quindi con 9 punti totali Luca Panzeri.
So in 11th place we have Luca Panzeri.
Luca Panzeri, allora eccolo qui che sta arrivando. 11° posto il suo in questo bellissimo viaggio, e quindi congratulazioni e bravo al nostro Luca Panzeri.
And up in 10th place we have Mario Rebora.
riconoscimento. Andiamo al 10° posto, 12 punti totali per Mario Rebora. E quindi bravo Mario, bravo e complimenti, 10° posto, grande, sempre con il sorriso. Andiamo a chiamare il 9° posto di Oscar Frigge.
9th place, Oscar Frigge.
E allora, eccoci qui, bravo Oscar, non nella tua posizione. E vai, premiato naturalmente in questo momento, e consegniamo la medaglia e quello che è il patto di riconoscimento.
Then in 8th place we have Riccardo Ambrosini.
Un grande applauso, 18 punti totali, Riccardo Ambrosini.
Riccardo, one of the 8 athletes making it from round 1 into round 2.
Grande Ricky, peccato solo per me.
51 years old and still at it. That's awesome.
L'anno prossimo. Grande Ricky, complimenti, eccolo qui. 8° posto, 18 punti.
So now moving on to the 7th place athletes, and that would be Daniel Filippi.
30 punti totali, Daniel Filippi. Grande Daniel, 7°, 10°, è il 4º, 7° posto consecutivo, quindi bravo Daniel, però sempre tanta tenacia, tanta determinazione. E andiamo ora al 6° posto.
All right, moving on to our top 6 now. In 6th place we have Marco Locatelli.
Bisogniamo salire di là, i paperelli che hanno confuso, però va bene. Grande
Marco with the best headwear of the day, with his rubber ducky hat, the bucket hat.
37 i punti totali. Andiamo ora, entriamo ora nella top 5, quindi i migliori 5 atleti. Il 5°
Okay, in 5th place we have Alberto Fumagalli.
Bravo Albi, grande.
He was a fun one to watch today. Great in the chopping disciplines. Really, really consistent throughout the day. And he is among the top 5 in Italy for STIHL Timbersports. Well done. Congratulations. And now coming up we have number 4, Andrea Rossi, a legend in Italian timber sports. The gentleman giant. Also one of the guys responsible for bringing up and training a lot of the new young athletes in Italy and getting them to the point where they can get on this stage and also compete. Okay, unfortunately Andrea just outside the podium positions, but now we're moving into our podium positions, and we have in 3rd place the bronze medal going to Michael Delpine.
Allora, grazie, bravo Daniele Filippi, grazie naturalmente all'editore Italia 2. Se qualcuno vuole ce ne sono ancora, quindi naturalmente tutti i prodotti STIHL e STIHL Timbersport. Bene, allora signore e signori siamo al podio e quindi il 3° posto, punti totali 60,
So 3rd place again, Michael Delpine.
Bronzo per Michael Delpine. E allora eccolo qui, Damien Bruno Pordenone, Federico Giulia, Michael Delpine, 3ª posizione, medaglia di bronzo la sua in questa edizione 2026, tanti abbracci, tanti sorrisi, e questo, come si ricordava naturalmente, è quello che è lo spirito di STIHL Timbersport. Allora, i premi consegnati in questo momento, il bellissimo trofeo realizzato da Samuele Franceschini, consegnato in questo momento.
That's a lot of stuff these guys have to carry. Holy moly.
Michael Delpine, 3° posto.
And that cloth bag isn't going to survive the stage dry, that's for sure. All right, moving on to our silver medal position, 2nd place. He got defeated this year and knocked out of the top spot, but he was very, 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 very close. Only 1 point separated him in the top spot is Michel Perrin.
Allora bravo Michel Perrin, l'atleta valdostano, dopo la vittoria dello scorso anno si prende il secondo posto quest'anno e allora eccoci qui.
So 1 point separates him and the top spot, 74 and 75. It was a great day today, and where these guys stand is testament to the quality of the athletes that are coming out of Italy, and we're going to see improvements from year to year, definitely, with guys like this pushing the envelope.
Premi che vengono consegnati dal sindaco di Omegna e andiamo a consegnare anche il miglior premio come Axman, quindi le discipline con l'ascia. E quindi chiedo a Christoph Inhofer di consegnare la motosega, quindi questa motosega da potatura che naturalmente trovate nel rivenditore STIHL con uno sconto incredibile per i migliori tempi con le asce, quindi bello anche questo successo di Michel Perrin. Ed ora, signore e signori,
So with 3 years between wins, our new champion for 2026 is Alessandro Ciapponi. Another great ambassador coming out of the rookie ranks and moving into the pros. And he has proved himself once again that off-season training definitely can benefit you. And if you want to check out anything about his off-season training, there is a YouTube program called Off-Season where you can see him and several other timber sports athletes featured in their off-season training, getting ready for competitions just like this one. And Alessandro Ciapponi definitely deserved this one here this weekend. He fought hard, he fought well, and was consistent throughout, and he is the #1 by 1 point. Yeah, and you can see Michel Perrin getting ready with the champagne already.
Allora dobbiamo ringraziare anche il nostro massaggiatore, quindi lo riteniamo qui sul palco, Fabrizio Carnevali, e quindi grazie Fabrizio per naturalmente quello che è stato il tuo supporto agli atleti, per davvero qualcosa di fondamentale. Allora signore e signori, dovrebbe iniziare il bollicine time, io mi sposto un attimino, ma celebriamo!
There we go. And everybody scatters. The best part of any podium celebration, the champagne shower.
E allora, eccoci qui, continua la festa, è appena iniziata.
All right. We hope you enjoyed this STIHL Timbersports Italian Championship 2026. We have a new champion who will hopefully stay among the top-ranked athletes in the European ranking and represent Italy at the Individual World Championships in October of this year for the 100th anniversary of STIHL. And yeah, what a fantastic way to go. Unbelievable day today. Please enjoy the highlights of the day as we say goodbye. Until next time, folks, take care and ciao.